We begin today's broadcast by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the lands and waters where we gather today. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sydney for Day 6 of the Australian Rowing Championships, supported proudly by the New South Wales Government's Tourism and Major Events Agency, Destination New South Wales. Well, we've got today 6 already, Lizzie Chapman. What are we looking forward to today? Lots of finals.
Especially in the underage events. Apologies, yes, we are really looking forward to Day 6. Lots of events, including underage events finals, and now also the progression of school events, including the semi-finals of the single sculls, which is going to be hotly contested. And then we have quite a few eights events on today, and that's always very noisy and very exciting. At 2 o'clock, we've got the Open Women's 8, and we've just seen a few of them paddling out there this morning. They look fantastic, don't they?
That one Women's 8 that went past there before.
With quite a few of the national team in it, yes.
Very strong
So
indeed.
that is going to be a really exciting race.
So the first race of the day is the Under-17 Women's Quad, and there are 4 crews from New South Wales in the middle of the field, including one that you're involved in, and another co-commentator, Chris McCarthy.
Yep.
But that Mossman crew would be the crew to beat. And all through the program, you're seeing squads that are doing well, like Randall Martin's squad and Tom Shremko and Kieran Kabelke's squad are all doing well. So it augurs well for the future that those young coaches are doing such a great job, doesn't it?
100%. There is such a great camaraderie between the coaches as well. There's a lot of information swapping that goes on in an event like this. Just being out on the paddock, rigging the boats yesterday, chatting to different school coaches. I'm quite new to running a school program, and there's such a wealth of knowledge, and everybody's so willing to share. It's very exciting. And of course, at national championships, we're all there from across the country. So I know Ron Batt does an excellent job in getting us all together for conferences every now and then, but from a coach perspective, and I'm sure volunteers feel the same way, the athletes, the way you connect with your own little group is wonderful. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've had 116,000 plus views already of our live streaming.
Good.
And we'll begin racing at 8 a.m. with the Under-17 Women's Quad Scull Championship of Australia final. So we look forward to bringing that to you at 8 a.m.
And a full day of really exciting racing. Not very many breaks. Come and join us here online if you can't be with us in person. Rowing Australia would like to thank all partners, supporters and suppliers of the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. Destination New South Wales, Hancock Prospecting, the Australian Sports Commission and the Australian Institute of Sport, Penrith City Council, 776 BC, Bont Rowing, Colgan Foundation, Inglewood Coffee Roasters, Bolle, Bannister Downs Dairy, Tempur, Ticketmaster, The Regatta Shop, Sykes Rowing, Sixt Australia, Concept 2, and Croker Oars. With support from Rowing New South Wales, Rowing ACT, Rowing Queensland, Rowing South Australia, Rowing Tasmania, Rowing Victoria, and Rowing WA.
Welcome to Sydney. Upbeat, downbeat. Feel its heartbeat. Open spaces. Open arms. Open all night. Come feel it all. And feel new.
In every corner of this great country, Australians are chasing their dreams to be the best at what they do. In Australia and on the world stage. Teamwork and resilience. With pride in what they do. Even in the toughest of times during the pandemic, pathways were found. With a shared vision to represent Australia, to be the best they can be, and to contribute to our nation.
Our patron, Gina Reinhardt, helps to give me the leadership and inspiration
to want to be the best.
To climb the biggest mountains of our lives.
Setting myself up now and into the future.
Like these great Australians, we too continually strive to be the best at everything we do.
We have varied and exciting career opportunities across our mining and agricultural businesses. To join Australia's most successful private company group, head to futureaustralianjobs.com for more information. Roy Hill and Atlas, investing in Australia's future.
And once again, we're going to have an interview before racing starts, and I'm joined this morning by Beach Sprint lead coach Larissa Biesenthal. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you, Ray. Nice to be here.
For everybody who doesn't know you, Larissa's nickname is Larry, right around the world. Beach Sprint lead coach is an interesting title for someone who rowed at the Olympic Games with traditional rowing and has coached at the Olympic Games with traditional rowing.
Yep.
Can you tell me the difference?
It's fun the whole time. So being from a Stillwater background, 96, 2000, as you know, and then coaching it's a whole different atmosphere. It's something where you use your technical expertise, you use your tactical expertise, because you've got to be steering, and the mental side of it. So it's drawing on the same characteristics that you do in Stillwater rowing, but it's fun. You're on the beach, it's short, it's powerful, it's quick, and it's unpredictable. The waves throw another little level of unpredictability that you just never really know what's going to happen.
So speaking of the waves, you know, we have World Rowing has a standard that has to be for a championship.
Yeah.
What are the parameters around a beach for the beach sprints?
They should be inland beaches. They should not be on the coast. Or if they're on the coast, they should be sheltered in a cove.
Oh, okay, a cove type thing.
Yeah, so 0.5 to 1 meter max are the waves. And you've also got to look at the breaking of the waves, how big the sets are, and the slope of the beach also.
To avoid that horrible thing that I've seen in surf boats so many times where you're at the rear of the field but you pick up a runner 100%. And you just go past everybody else.
Yeah.
So those parameters make it more fun but still very, very fair for every competitor.
Yeah, and safety is the big thing, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to put people out because the boats aren't made the same as the surf boats are made.
No.
They're made for the smaller waves, just to ride them out and to be able to slalom between the buoys.
And you've got a boat up here at the end of the grandstand?
Yeah, we've got one just up here at the Beach Sprint tent, and then we've got some that you can sign up and head out on the water during the lunch break.
Okay, so has that been taken up by many people?
More of the people that are coming to selection later on have gone out, and we've done little training sessions.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how many people know that we're up there doing that.
And Ron, I was talking to Ron earlier in the week, he was hoping to have some sort of a display maybe at lunchtime, but today's program's so tight, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
And that's it, right? It doesn't make sense to try to stick it in if we can't fit it. So That's where we thought lunch breaks, if people want to get out and go through the back bay, it's fine.
Yeah. It's interesting, I made this comment yesterday, to see Marcus Delamata be in the Australian beach sprint team last year.
Yep.
And now he's potentially in the Olympic team.
So Jason Lane and I have talked a lot about this, that we look at it, beach sprint should not be looked at that it's going to take over Stillwater rowing. It's not going to take over. And there's people that are, we can't have it in. Beach sprint is a pathway for Stillwater rowers. So Marcus last year went on the beach, you up against international competition, you get the same nerves, it's the same mental prep, it's the same, can I perform well on the day when I have to. So it is a pathway in a sense, that it's a different avenue to get our next in line athletes to the start line to get better.
And you've been travelling a bit with this, with World Rowing and with Rowing Australia. So where have you had competition so far?
The first one I was at was when I was back in Canada. We had one on Vancouver Island. And then I went and actually did my training course in Rio, in Brazil, for beach sprint. Then we did a little bit in Argentina and Thailand, and then Italy last year.
Okay, where was it in Italy?
Barletta.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, really nice little team.
So we haven't selected a team yet for the beach sprints?
Selection is April 15th to the 18th.
And where will that be held?
We're doing it up Northern Beaches.
Okay, New South Wales.
New South Wales.
Okay, in the Northern Beaches. And are we allowed to say where the Australian Championships are yet?
We're not. I think it's going to be announced later on, from what I've been told.
All right. So you and Ian, both Olympians for Canada, and we're in Australia working, went back to Canada, and now you're back in Australia.
Yeah.
And your daughters are at school?
Both here, yeah. One's a surfer, one's a rower.
Okay.
Yeah.
And both still at school?
Both still at school. Yeah.
So are you enjoying your second stint in Australia?
Love it. We should have stayed the first time, but Ian wanted to go back, so here we are.
So, Ian went back and was High Performance Director at Rowing Canada.
Yeah.
And now is he with sailing?
Sailing, High Performance Director with sailing.
I did see him in
Australia,
the media centre briefly yesterday, just long enough to say g'day, Ian, shake hands and kiss a couple of
He's here
babies and
watching
move
Avery.
on.
Yeah.
So, Larissa, we wish you the best of luck with this project, and I can see the excitement in your eyes and in your voice that this is. I didn't really understand that it could be the transfer from beach sprints to stillwater rowing, but Marcus Dallamata is obviously the poster boy for that experience.
Yeah, Lucy Hope did it, and Phoebe Robinson last year. So, quite a few.
So, good luck for the year ahead,
Awesome.
and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Founded by Sean P. Colgan, the Colgan Foundation has supported athletes, students, scientists, mentors, Catholic clergy, war veterans and others in need since 1995. The philanthropic reach of the foundation extends across many nations, from Philadelphia high schoolers to children in El Salvador, to rowers from the Antipodes, to active military in undisclosed international locations. The efforts of the Colgan Foundation make an impact around the world. Rowing Australia is pleased to be a partner with the Colgan Foundation in developing our national 8-oared cruise for 2028.
So, Lizzie, had the pleasure of shaking hands with Sean Colgan yesterday. He's here at the regatta. He's come over from New Zealand and was upstairs yesterday afternoon when I went up there. But racing is about to begin with the under-17. Lizzie will give us the cruise here in this first final of day 6 of the Australian Rowing Championships.
So the under-17 women's Coxed Quad Scull final in Lane 1, Canberra Girls Grammar School. Elkie Spiller, Mia Wiley, Charlotte Bowen, Sophie Murphy and their cox Heidi Bell. coached by Lachlan Hurd and Charlie Durkin. In lane 2, Trinity Lutheran College from Queensland with Emily Dobbin, Sophie Clifford, Charlie Newman, Molly Lomax, Chloe Fielding, their cocks. They're coached by Eric Rowan and Victoria Earle. In lane 3, a composite between Sydney Rowing Club, Leichhardt Rowing Club and Ascombe School. Chloe Hitchens from Ascombe, Sabrina Koskar from Leichhardt and Ascombe, Mabel Oxenham from Sydney Rowing Club and Xenia Palmer from Sydney Rowing Club with Sophia Kelleher from PLC Coxing. Coached by Charlie Patterson, Isaac Shepherd, Chris McCarthy and myself, cast of thousands. In lane 4, Kinross Walleroy, the first of 2 crews in the final. This one, Emily Wise, Laura Chudley, Rani Jarrick and Belle Clinton, coxed by Zoe Mackay. Mossman Rowing Club are in lane 5, Frida Kirkham, Lottie Ravenstein, Eloise Stevens and Elise Coates, coxed by Alexandra Pearson, coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schranko and Kieran Kabelke. Our second Kinross Walleroy crew is in lane 6, Maddie O'Brien, Isabel Grout, Ruby Ligo, Lucy Reedy and their cox Jane Bruce. Commercial from Queensland are in lane 7, Olivia Grant, Holly Fleming, Summer Phillips and Sienna Becker, coxed by Daisy Plawecki, coached by Ross Beto and David Van Das. And in lane 8 from Furbank Grammar of Victoria, Sophie Nichols, Georgia Rao, Olivia McLean and Piper Hallam, coxed by Amy Summers and coached by Lucy Burnell.
And they're moved down the course, and the early leaders were the Kinross Walleroy crew, but the favourites for the final, the crew from Mossman, have moved into the lead there now. Mossman 146.07, 0.83, then 0.85 back to the Canberra Grammar crew on the far side of the course in station 1. So 2 Kinross Walleroy crews here. That's a great effort from the Kinross Walleroy School in orange, and they've done a fantastic job to get 2 crews into the final, and at the moment one of them is in second place, and a fantastic race for the bronze medal between lanes 7, 4, 3 and 1. That's Commercial, Kinross Walleroy, the Sydney Leichhardt Ascombe School Composite and Canberra Girls Grammar School. The leading boat, the boat coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke, has got the look back at the field there. They've got a half a length lead over Kinross Walleroy in station 6. Then back probably to maybe Commercial in station 7, although Kinross Walleroy in station 4 in the mix there as well. And Lizzie, certainly our biggest peloton of the regatta so far.
That's fantastic, isn't it, seeing all of those people on bicycles over there? What a wonderful race, as you said, really close in terms of the times. And some excellent sculling.
And this Mossman combination have done very well in single sculling. They've done very well in the double sculling. And they're expected to go on and win the quad scull as well here. Frida Kirkham, Lottie Ravenstein, Eloise Stevens and Elise Coates, Alexandra Pearson, the coxswain. And the bow cox boat, I imagine most of these would be bow cox boats. And they go through the 1,000 metre mark now in 3:37.68. Kinross Walleroy 2.38 back. Then follows what looks to me like Commercial, then Canberra Girls Grammar and Kinross Walleroy. Commercial on station 7 and certainly in third place at the moment. And our leading boat, Mossman, rowing a boat called the Rowena Meredith.
Yes, Rowena learnt to row at Mossman Rowing Club. So that's really wonderful, isn't it, naming a boat after her. And these, this quad are the 2 doubles that appeared in the final of the under-17 women's yesterday. So Eloise and Elise took the gold medal. Frida and Lottie took the bronze medal.
And the bronze medalists in the double are in that Commercial crew that's almost challenging Kinross Walleroy for the silver medal now. They're clearly in the bronze medal position, Commercial, with the crew of Olivia Grant, Holly Fleming, Summer Phillips, Sienna Becker, Daisy Plawecki, coached by Ross Batho and David Van Das. Just about level pegging with Kinross Walleroy, but neither crew a match for the speed shown by the crew from Mossman. Look at that race for second and third, Lizzie. That is bow ball to bow ball.
It certainly is. That Mossman crew is getting such reach. So from this zone, we can see the angles there at the catch, quite long on the catch, pretty accurate, and nice long arc through the water because they're keeping that blade under the water right through to the finish. So there's no secret to making a boat go fast, that's for sure, and they're executing beautifully.
You put it in together and take it out together, and it's amazing what the outcome can be, isn't it?
That's right.
And I look at the parallel of the blades, and they're
Yes.
near perfect, and their lead has increased to, Commercial have certainly moved into second place now. It's 4.03, Mossman over Commercial, 0.39 back to Kinross Wallaroi. Then the crew you're involved in, Lizzie, is in fourth place, the Sydney Composite crew. Then Kinross Wallaroi. Canberra Girls Grammar are up there early, but they've dropped back into sixth place at the moment. But the crew from Mossman in Station 5, they're going to win the first gold medal of day 6 of the Australian Rowing Championships. The peloton riding along there, and there's another coach who is running along there, so he's trying to get his steps up for the day. And Commercial still moving away ever so slightly with every stroke they take over the Kinross Wallaroi crew. That was the early leaders. But Mossman leading Commercial, Kinross Wallaroi in Station 6. Remember that there are 2 Kinross Wallaroi crews in this final, so an outstanding job by that group out there, headed up by Adam Harrison.
Headed up by Adam Harrison, I think is now head of sport, and Emma Fessy, I think, heading up the junior section that these girls would fall under. Excellent job going on there at Kinross Wallaroi.
And Commercial moving away, as I said, with every stroke over the Kinross Wallaroi crew. So Commercial in the silver medal in the Sydney Composite. There's still a chance of getting into the medals there, your crew. They're coming home very nicely indeed.
They are, and they're certainly leaving, emptying the tank, one would say, aren't they? So Mossman Rowing Club in the lead.
Yep, they'll win it. Commercial will be second. Kinross Wallaroi in 6 will be third. Fourth will be the Sydney Composite crew in lane 3. Fifth will be Kinross in lane 4. Sixth will be the Sixth will be Canberra Girls Grammar. Seventh will be Trinity Lutheran, and 8th will be the Furbank Grammar School crew.
So just confirming then the results of the first final of the day, the under-17 women's coxed quad scull. First, Mossman Rowing Club. Second, Commercial Rowing Club. Third, Kinross Wallaroi, stroked by Lucy Reedy. Fourth, the Sydney Composite crew. Fifth, Kinross Wallaroi crew, stroked by Belle Clinton. 6th, Canberra Girls Grammar. 7th, Trinity Lutheran, and 8th, Furbank Grammar. The winning time 7 minutes 20.31. The margins 5.52, 1.03.
Fantastic
Excellent
race and a great performance by that Mossman crew to win our first final on day 6. As we cross to the start line, Lizzie, for the under-17 men's cox quadruple scull final.
In lane 1, we have Canberra Grammar School with Ralph Zhang, Magnus Dafter, Alexander Griffiths and Benjamin McGregor, coxed by Teniola Balagan, coached by Thomas Hart. In lane 2, Prince Alfred College from South Australia, James Dixon, Christian Smith, Ethan Harlaftis and Nick Christensen, coxed by Diego Barlow and coached by Thomas Johnson. In lane 3, Ballarat Clarendon College, Joseph Belcher, Alistair Forsyth, Tiger Williams, Jake Connolly, coxed by Reese Belcher and coached by Kate Littlejohn. In lane 4, the Southport School, George Schmidt, Harrison Howard, Kine Baird and William Box, coxed by Jack Houlihan and coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. In lane 5, St Virgil's College and Buckingham Rowing Club of Tasmania, Callum Wigston, Alex Lamprey, Saxon Van Anholt and Llewellyn Gray, coxed by Lucy Pinelli, coached by Oliver Wilson Haffenden and Hamish Johnston. In lane 6, St Patrick's College, Ballarat, Isaac Kopke-Veltus, Frank Puddy, Lockie Belville and George Charles, coxed by Blake Roberts and coached by Craig Murfitt and Hayden Swan. In lane 7, Redland School from New South Wales, Thomas Hooper, Connor Morrison, Angus McInnes and Oscar Pearce, coxed by Henry Preece, coached by Alec Price, Timothy Robertson and James Petering. And in Lane 8, Brisbane Grammar School, Nicholas Kelso, Ezekiel Hutton, James Grant, Oliver Kent and their cocks Hamish Campbell, coached by Philip Morgan.
And thanks to our director, John Williamson, we saw the starter actually press the button to say go. So great coverage from BMA, who bring you all of these pictures, along with John Meekings, who is part of the furniture almost here at the Sydney International Regatta
I don't know what
Centre.
we would do without him. Yes, he's absolutely fantastic.
But BMA doing a great job bringing us all of these pictures and coordinating the delivery of it all. So Canberra Grammar on the far side of the course have got away well, but best away is the Redlands crew in Station 7. We can expect the crews in the middle, the Ballarat and Clarendon, the Southport School, St Virgil's Composite and St Patrick's College of Victoria to push through. But in the early stages, it is the crew from Redlands that leads in Sydney, the crew from St Virgil's. It's a composite crew now. Callum Wixton of Buckingham, Alex Lamprey, Saxon Van Aanholt and Llewellyn Gray and Lucy Pinelli of St Virgil's. But the Redlands crew have stolen a march on them in the early stages, but it's very close. There wouldn't be a length between first and last after about 250 metres. Pushing through there, you can see the Wendouree, the Prince Alfred College crew in the red colours over on the far side of the course, and nearest the camera is the crew from Brisbane Grammar School. And they're up there with the leading boats, the Nicholas Kelso, Ezekiel Hutton, James Grant, Oliver Kent, Hamish Campbell crew, coached by Phil Morgan. So the coaches are getting plenty of exercise this morning, as pushing through now is that Tasmanian composite crew. St Virgil's Buckingham composite, 1 minute 37.44, have taken the lead. Very impressive in their semi-final. They're in front of the crew from Redlands, and then the rest of the field trying to sort out some order about themselves. The Southport School, Brisbane Grammar School, Canberra Grammar, St Patrick's College of Victoria and Ballarat and Clarendon are all there in the mix at the moment. But at this juncture, the crew from Tasmania, from Hobart, the St Virgil's College Buckingham crew have got about a canvas to half a length lead over the early leaders, the Redlands crew, but they're under attack from crews on their stroke side, including Canberra Grammar in Station 1, that crew coached by Thomas Hart. Fantastic shots coming from our van that's following the races down. Again, thanks to BMA for that delivery. But it is that composite crew from St Virgil still leading Redlands, the very early leaders. And a cracking race for third as they approach the 1,000 metre mark. There's 3 minutes covered. Lane 4 pushing through now, the Southport School. That crew, George Schmidt, Harrison Howard, Kine Baird, William Box, Jack Houlihan, and coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. They go through the 1,000 metre mark. It is the composite crew from Tasmania. Wow. Second is Redlands, just 0.84, 0.86 to Canberra Grammar, and there was 0 point something amongst about the next three margins. Very little to choose. You can see Callum Wixton in the bow there in his Buckingham singlet as the crew from the Southport School just move in slightly into second place, I'd suggest. The Redlands crew still very much, no, Redlands still second. It's just the angle's got me there. It's the crew from the Southport School looking to get onto that medal podium later this morning. And they may well have moved into second place, but Redlands are hanging on tenaciously after being the very early leaders. And the crew from St Virgil's and Buckingham have hung onto the lead they established after 500 metres. It's 4 minutes and 16 seconds gone. You can see the coxswain there of the lead boat encouraging her crew, Lucy Pinelli. Coaches are Oliver Wilson Haffenden and Hamish Johnston. And they're encouraging their crew as the Southport School gets some overlap now on the leaders. And Redlands under threat from others for the bronze medal. But they're hanging on, the Redlands crew. They're currently in third place. Fourth, I reckon, would be the Ballarat and Clarendon crew, which is on the improve. 5th, maybe Brisbane Grammar School. 6th, Prince Alfred College and Canberra Grammar. And then back is the crew from St Patrick's College of Victoria. They would be in 8th place, but very little between 1st and 8th. St Virgil's leads. Southport 2nd. Redlands 3rd. Ballarat and Clarendon are up there in the mix. So coaches there giving plenty of encouragement to their charges. The Tasmanian combination, Buckingham Rowing Club, one of the oldest clubs in Tasmania, and St Virgil Schools. I think it's the biggest Catholic school in Tasmania. I think it's an Edmund Rice school. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but they're doing a fantastic job. A bit like the Mossman quite in the previous race, their blade work is very, very good indeed. And they're reaping the benefits of that good technique and good combination. And they look as though the gold medal is within their keeping, as is the silver medal for the Southport School. And Redlands lifting another effort, trying to peg back Southport. Redlands holding down 3rd place at the moment, but trying to get up onto the silver medal dais. St Virgil's and Buckingham from Hobart in Tasmania. Under 17 men's Cox quadruple scull final, and they're coming into view now with a large peloton following them down the course. The crew from Redlands hanging on for 3rd place at the moment, but it's the Tasmanians in lane 5. They're going to win the race. The Redlands crew are coming back, but I think Southport will be 2nd. Redlands will be 3rd. 4th, the improving St Patrick's College crew. 5th, then Ballarat and Clarendon. 6th, very close between Prince Alfred College and Brisbane Grammar School. Canberra Grammar are in 8th place. Brisbane Grammar 7th. Prince Alfred College 6th. The winning time 6 minutes 40.64. The margins 3.35 by 1.46. Yeah, Brisbane Grammar, in fact, are 6th, and Prince Alfred College are 7th.
The presentation of medals for the Under-17 Women's Cox Quad Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Kent Peters, State Councillor for Rowing ACT. Third place and bronze medalists, Kinross Walleroy School. Maddie O'Brien. Isabel Grout. Ruby Ligo. Lucy Reedy. And their cox, Jane Bruce. Second place and silver medalists, Commercial Rowing Club. Olivia Grant. Holly Fleming. Summer Phillips. Sienna Becker. And their cox, Daisy Plawecki. The crew was coached by Ross Batho and David Van Das. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Mossman Rowing Club. Frida Kirkham, Lottie Ravenstein, Eloise Stevens, Elise Coates, and their cox Alexandra Pearson. The crew was coached by Ben Whitewolf, Tom Schramko, Kieran Kabelke. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Australian champions and medalists in the under-17 women's coxed quad scull.
So our next race is the under-19 women's quadruple scull. I'll bring you the field because Lizzie's busy getting medal presentations ready. In lane 1 is a Buckingham Tasmanian University composite. Lane 2, Gippsland Grammar Mercantile. Lane 3, Fremantle Western Australian Rowing Club composite. Lane 4 is Sydney Nepean Loreto College Marriotteville Hill composite. Lane 5, UTS Haberfield Glebe Adelaide University composite. Lane 6, Canberra Girls Grammar School, that made it easy. Lane 7, Trinity Lutheran College from the Gold Coast. And lane 8 is Sydney Yarra composite. And I would suggest it's the crew, the UTS Haberfield Glebe Adelaide Uni composite crew that's in the lead. Victoria Binns, Lucy Yabsley, Freya Bateman and Jade Bliss. Jade Bliss is having a fantastic regatta rowing for the University of Technology, Sydney. This crew is coached by Jared Watson, Tom Tolinar and Milan Parker. And they're 1.41 seconds in front of the Sydney composite crew, Emily Lang, Olivia Harris, Neve Tierney and Gabby Cypher, coached by Charlie Patterson, Dario Sportelli and Dan Waddell. Third, probably Canberra Girls Grammar, Alex Perry Dalton, Emily Walker, Samantha Burns, Eliza Lilly, coaches Caroline Pipers and Nigel Harding. And then back to lane, that was the crew in lane 6 then. Further back to the crews on the extremities of the course. And as these three move out. Fourth is Gippsland Grammar composite. Kate McNeil, April Harrison, Scarlett Tavaski and Ella Duran. Nick Bartlett, the coach of that crew. Kate McNeil continuing to race. She's had a fantastic regatta after having won the head of the schoolgirls year 10 single scull in Geelong last Sunday. Now our leaders still UTS Haberfield, but the crew from Sydney Composite trying to get some overlap with them if they can after the first 500 metres was left behind them into heading towards the 1,000 metre mark. UTS Haberfield Composite, lane 5. Sydney Composite, lane 4. Then Canberra Girls Grammar in lane 6. Improving as the Fremantle Composite crew in lane 3. Leaving behind Gippsland Grammar, Buckingham Composite on the far side, and further back Trinity Lutheran College from the Gold Coast, and at the rear is the Sydney Yarra Composite crew in station 8. But it's a length lead to the UTS Haberfield Composite crew as they approach 1,000 metre mark, and they go through there. Almost a neat length over Sydney Composite, in turn a neat length back to Canberra Girls Grammar. Then follows just 0.67 to the Western Australian Rowing Club Fremantle Composite crew. Then follows Gippsland Grammar Mercantile Composite, Trinity Lutheran College, Sydney Yarra and Sydney Composite in station 8. The lead boat is called the Sarah Pound, a lightweight rower who rowed for Australia on a number of occasions. Had the pleasure of having Sarah on teams that I managed some years ago. So it's lane 5, lane 4, lane 3 looks to be the order. Fremantle Composite has moved up there. Alessia Sirocco, Juliet Kelly, Emma O'Neill and Sina Metzger. Unfortunately no coach listed. But they've moved into the bronze medal position at the 1,000 metre mark in front of the crew from lane 6, the Canberra Girls Grammar crew. They're moving away with every stroke they take, this UTS Haberfield Glebe Adelaide University Composite crew. Adelaide Uni in the bow seat, Glebe in 2 and the 2 UTS scullers in seats 3 and stroke. So Jade Bliss goes to school at St Catherine School in Sydney. And Lucy Yabsley is a Askham girl, and their crew now with some clear water over the Sydney Composite crew, which is under threat now from the crew beside them, the Fremantle Composite crew. So UTS Haberfield Composite hanging on to the lead. They established Sydney Composite, and then Fremantle Composite are clearly in third place with some overlap over the Sydney Composite crew. They're working hard, the Fremantle crew. Looks like there's 3 Fremantle scullers in that crew, and Alessia Sirocco from Western Australian Rowing Club is in the 2 seat. And the others from Fremantle, Julia Kelly, Emma O'Neill and Sina Metzger. They were placed in the double scull. They were on the medal presentation. They actually won the double scull, I think, the under-19 double Fremantle, if I recall. Very close for the silver and bronze, but no doubt about our gold medalist, barring mishap. The University of Technology Sydney crew. Yeah. So it was the Fremantle double that won the double scull, but in this quad scull, it's UTS, Haberfield, Glebe, Adelaide University. Adelaide Uni's Victoria Binns in the bow seat. The Glebe rower, Lucy Yabsley, in 2 seat, Freya Bateman, Jade Bliss. Across the line they go. They'll be first. Second will be Sydney Composite. Third will be Fremantle Composite. Fourth will be the Canberra Girls Grammar School crew. They've done a great job there. Fifth will be the Buckingham Composite crew. Sixth will be Gippsland Grammar. Seventh will be Trinity Lutheran. Eighth will be Sydney Composite. The winning time, ladies and gentlemen, 6:58.95. The margin 5 seconds flat and 1.66.
Presentation of medals for the Under-17 Men's Coxed Quad Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Craig James OAM, State Councillor for Rowing Western Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Redlands School. Thomas Hooper. Connor Morrison. Angus McInnes. Oscar Pearce. Their cox, Henry Priest. The crew was coached by Alec Price, Timothy Robertson and James Petering. Second place and silver medalists, the Southport School. George Schmidt. Harrison Howard. Kym Baird. William Box. Their cox, Jack Houlihan. and the crew was coached by Stefan Muhlenberg. Gold medalists and national champions for 2024 from St Virgil's College and Buckingham Rowing Club, Tasmania. Callum Wigston from Buckingham Rowing Club. Holt from St Virgil's College. And Llewellyn Gray from St Virgil's College. Their cox, Lucy Pinelli. The crew was coached by Oliver Wilson Haffenden and Hamish Johnston. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Australian champions and medalists in the under-17 men's coxed quad scull.
The under-19 men's quadruple scull is underway. In lane 1 is Western Australian Swan River Composite. Lane 2, Gregory Terrace and St Joseph's College Gregory Terrace, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Brisbane State High Composite. In lane 3 is Launceston Grammar School. Lane 4, Mossman Rowing Club. Lane 5, Hunter Valley Grammar, UTS Haberfield, Adelaide University, Adelaide Rowing Club. Lane 6, Kinross Walleroy. Lane 7, Radford College. And lane 8 is North Esk Tamar Composite. And it is the Kinross Walleroy crew that's in the lead.
Well, yet again, what a school.
They're not in a
some
blue
of the parents
boat,
last
Lindsay.
night. Lovely.
They're
lovely
not in a blue boat. That's what's confused me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So
And
1
then,
minute 28.44. They were 2.3 seconds clear of Hunter Valley Grammar in second place. Then followed Mossman, Launceston Grammar, Western Australian Rowing Club, Swan River Composite, Gregory Terrace Composite, North Esk Tamar Composite, and Radford College. Little to separate first and eighth, but no doubt that Kinross Walleroy making a bold bid for victory here, out in the lead as the Hunter Valley Grammar crew starts to stride out after them. Hunter Valley Grammar, Cooper Hoskin, Alexander Williams, Caelan Routley, Luke Purdy. So Adelaide Rowing Club, Adelaide Uni, UTS and Hunter Valley Grammar all represented. Kinross Walleroy, Harry Dimmick, George Waken, Oscar Cleary and Oliver Smith. And that composite crew encroaching on that lead with every stroke they take. And the lead boat going at Kinross Walleroy. And Joe getting around here at the regatta. They're coaching a number of the Team Vietnam crews. In third place is the Mossman crew, William Robertson, Harry Coddington, Dion Hansen, Oscar Gamborg, Oscar Shield Gamborg, coached by Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke. Then follows Launceston Grammar, the composite crew from Western Australia, Gregory Terrace Composite, Radford College and North Esk Composite. But the push from the Hunter Valley Grammar composite crew has worked. They've gone from a half a length behind to a half a length in front over the last 250 metres. Hunter Valley Grammar in the bow seat. Adelaide Rowing Club in 2 seat. Adelaide Uni in 3 seat. And Routley of UTS in the stroke seat. So it was a varied combination. I don't know where they got this one from, maybe from the New South Wales Championships, where after racing a lot of crews are formed. And if this one was formed from that regatta, the people who have put it together have done a very good job. The early leaders, Kinross Walleroy, now a length behind the leading boat as that leading boat starts to move even further away. In third place is Mossman. As we said, part of the Schramko and Kabelke squad that's doing such a great job. In fourth place, Launceston Grammar, Monty Brown, Archie Burke, Oliver Quinn, George Beecham, coaches James Cumming and Jack Barrett. Then follows Gregory Terrace Composite, Jason McKenzie of Brisbane State High School, Matthew Lescu, Luca Free and John Nolan. So the margin 3.59 now. They're opening up a bigger lead with every stroke they take, this crew from Hunter Valley Grammar Composite. Kinross Walleroy holding on second, Mossman third. They look as though they're safe, those three, for the medals. Launceston Grammar in fourth place. Then back to Gregory Terrace and Western Australian Rowing Club. Radford College and North Esk on this side of the course, trying to get up into those minor ends of the placings. But no doubt about our medalists at this juncture, with this crew moving away using University of Technology Sydney Haberfield blades. They must have done some training while they've been here, because their combination is very fluent indeed. Field maybe trying to send a note to the selectors to say we want to be invited to the selections. They're clear of the Kinross Walleroy crew. Then in third place is the Mossman crew. So two all from the same club or school, but a very mixed composite crew that's going to win the under-19 men's quadruple scull. Cooper Hoskin, Alexander Williams, Kalen Routley, Luke Purdy across the line first. Kinross Walleroy second. Mossman Rowing Club third. Fourth will be the Launceston Grammar crew in station 3. Fifth will be tight between Gregory Terrace Composite and Western Australian Rowing Club Composite. Who will get there, Lizzie? Gregory Terrace Composite will be fifth. WARC will be sixth. Seventh will be North Esk. Eighth will be Radford College. The winning time, ladies and gentlemen, 6 minutes 12.03. The margin 6.09 by 3.26.
The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Kent Peters, President of Rowing ACT. Third place and bronze medalists, Fremantle and West Australian Rowing Club. Alessia Sirocco from West Australian Rowing Club. Juliet Kelly from Fremantle Rowing Club. Emma O'Neill from Fremantle Rowing Club. And Zena Metzger from Fremantle Rowing Club. Second place and silver medalists, representing Sydney, Nepean and Loreto College, Marriattville. Emily Lang from Loreto College, Marriattville. Olivia Harris from Nepean Rowing Club. Neve Tierney from Sydney Rowing Club. Gabby Cypher from Sydney Rowing Club. The crew is coached by Charlie Patterson, Dario Sportelli and Daniel Waddell. Gold medalists and national champions for 2024, the UTS Haberfield Composite. Victoria Binns from Adelaide University Boat Club. Lucy Yabsley from Glebe Rowing Club. Freya Bateman from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. And Jade Bliss from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. The crew is coached by Jared Watson, Tom Tolinar and Milan Parker. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our national champions and the medalists in the Under-19 Women's Quad Scull. Our next event is the Under-19 Women's Coxed 8 final with St Catherine's School from Victoria in Lane 1, Queenwood School and Sydney Rowing Club Composite in Lane 2, St Catherine's School from New South Wales in Lane 3, Seymour College of South Australia in Lane 4, Unley High of South Australia in Lane 5, Loreto College, Ballarat in Lane 6, the University of Queensland Boat Club in Lane 7, and a composite from Queensland of Commercial, Brisbane and GPS, Townsville and James Cook University and Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise Rowing Clubs.
Wow, they're off the line there, Lizzie, and have a look at it. It's hammer and tong. Away they go, and a number of composite crews here. It'll take me till the 1900 metre mark to read all their names, I reckon. But there are a couple of all school or club crews, which is good. But at St Catherine's School in Station 1 is a all one club crew.
Yeah.
Queenwood Composite with Sydney.
Yeah, so that's Brooke Cuttance of Queenwood with Grace Bennett, who's rowing at Sydney Rowing Club. Also at Queenwood School, though. Annie Sieve in the 3 seat, Zara Taylor in 4, Gemma McLaren in 5, Zoe James at 6, Eva Thompson, who also rows at Sydney Rowing Club, in 7, and Addison Rolls in the stroke seat. We've seen her stroke many crews to victory before, and she was our champion year in terms of stroking this crew. Zara Milner is their cox, and they are coached by Kieran Glynn and Ray Boyle. Ray was the coach that took the Queenwood School crew to the Junior World Championships last year in the Cox 4.
Okay, and the University of Queensland Boat Club crew is an all-one club crew coached by Phil Bourguignon and Lily Lunny.
Indeed, Lily, the cox, I'm sure, giving good advice to Rosie Dodd, who's the cox of this crew. We've got Pia Hatzapetru, Sophie Crane, Astrid Coates, Felicity Bishop, Nell Murphy, Lucy McFarlane, Astrid Thomas and Ava Mulholland in the crew, Annabelle Rosie Dodd, the cox.
And St Catherine's School of New South Wales, probably the favourites for the race, but Seymour College and the University of Queensland are right there with them. But I think St Catherine's is starting to take the lead now.
St Catherine's, New South Wales, yes, with Bianca Rupnick-Williams, Alice Steed, Evelyn Stigter, Madeline Mannins, Isabel Yardley, Chelsea Baker, Madeline Swain and Lila Gaston in the crew, and Jasmine Abela coxing them. And they're coached by Jared Watson and the Irish Olympian Richard Coakley. And
the Seymour College crew is coached by Joe Franco.
Indeed. Great to see that name back again, isn't it? Yeah, Seymour College have Annie McNally, Abigail Worm, Sasha Humble, Georgia Walters, Grace Barrera, Daisy Holland, Isabella Lease, Ella Mackay, and the cox Sasha Walker.
And Unley High, the head coach there, Daniel Ralph, and Annalise Size coaching the Unley High crew. And they've got a huge contingent here.
They do. Either that or they've got a small one that's winning lots, because we recognise some of these names. Scarlett Shanks, Isabel Petrie, Claire Emerson and Emma Luscombe, Felicity Cox, Tamara Bates, Eleanor Nettervold, and their under-17 state champion Georgie Twelftree in the stroke seat. Misha Van Warmelo is their cox.
And the interesting push into eights from Loreto College at Ballarat. Richard tells us there's a few eights rowing now, and in the home of Coxed 4 rowing of Australia, I think.
Is it really, isn't it? Yeah. So good old Loreto Ballarat. Yes, Kate Connell, Annabelle Pittock, Isabella Rosato, Bronte Malloy, Lavinia Cushing, Tilly Stringer, Mia McTeague and Rosie Hunt, with Bethany Atherton coxing them.
And I'll give us the last one. Commercial, Brisbane and GPS, Townsville and James Cook University, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Bethany Harvest of Commercial, Melina Wilcox of Commercial, Ruby Hodges of Griffith Uni, Eva Pinkerton of Griffith Uni, Lily Bragg of Townsville, Eva Hoskins of Brisbane and GPS, Indiana Jenkinson of Commercial, Rose Ricks of Commercial, Hannah Alford is the coxswain, coached by David Vandas, Harrison Parks and Chris Holliday. So we've gone from Townsville to the Gold Coast. This crew made up over about 1,000 kilometres.
We've missed one crew off it. We haven't mentioned St Catherine's School Victoria, who, of course, won Henley in the women's 8, junior 8s, a couple of years ago. This crew this year is Millie Tulloch, Kari Prendergast, Catherine Ross and Sienna Rigg in the bow 4. Stern 4 are Rhea Werner, Scarlett Shelton, Sophia Purton and Emma Peel. And Scarlett Pringle is their cox. The coach is John Saunders.
And I think the St Catherine's School of New South Wales are proving their superiority as they approach the 1500 metre mark. Rowing a boat called the Marilyn Rickard, and they've got more than a length's lead over the Seymour College crew, doing a terrific job in second place, the Joe Franco coached crew, and then back in third place is the crew from the Queenwood Composite. But St Catherine's School, 459.47, they're 4.48 clear of Seymour College, and then 1.32 back to the Queenwood Composite. University of Queensland are fourth, but they're 4 seconds away. Further 4.5 to Loretto Ballarat, then follows Unley Wilderness Composite. Commercial on this side of the course, and on the far side of the course there is the St Catherine's from Victoria crew. So they're looking comfortable, the crew from St Catherine's School in Station 3, coached by Jared Watson and Richard Coakley. They're looking very comfortable out in the lead. The Seymour College crew doing a terrific job in second place, and they're probably comfortable as well. They've got a half a length over the composite Queenwood Sydney Rowing Club crew. I reckon the medals are just about cut and dried here as they go through the 1750 metre mark. And the St Catherine's School crew, Jared Watson and Irish Olympian Richard Coakley coaching this crew. Richard's been at St Catherine's for a while now, Lizzie.
He has, and very sadly, I think they're going back to Europe, he and his wife, and they have a young family. So we're going to miss him. I believe that Jared is taking over from him, though, and he's doing a good job both there and at UTS. So they're in very capable hands. They have a great coaching team there. How relaxed do they look?
They're rowing really, really well. There's no doubt about that. St Catherine's School from Sydney are going to win the under-19 women's Cox 8 in fine fashion. A length and 3/4 over the Seymour College crew in lane 4. Third will be the Queenwood Composite crew in lane 2. Fourth will be lane 7, University of Queensland. Here, rowing in 8s and doing a fantastic job. 6th will be anybody's guess. I'm not sure. 8th will be the commercial composite crew. 6th and 7th, Unley High and St Catherine's School, still to be determined. Judge.
All right, okay. Which means St Catherine's
we'll have to
School
check on
Victoria
that.
is 6th. But certainly our first three are very clear. So the winners of the under-19 women's Cox 8 St Catherine's School, New South Wales. The silver medal is going to go to Seymour College of South Australia, and the bronze medal to the Queenwood Sydney Rowing Club Composite. 4th, University of Queensland Boat Club. 5th, Unley Wilderness School. 6th, St Catherine's School Victoria. 7th, .17. Presentation of medals for the under-19 men's under-19 men's Coxless Quad Scull Championships of Australia. The medals will be presented by Craig James, OAM, Counsellor, Rowing, Western Australia. Third William Robertson. Harry Coddington. Dion Hansen. Oscar Shiel Gamborg. The crew was coached by Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelki. Second place and silver medalists, Kinross Walleroy School. Harry Dimmock. George Wakeham. Oscar Cleary. . Oliver Smith. Gold medalists and national champions for 2024, the Hunter Valley Composite. Cooper Hoskin from Adelaide Rowing Club. Alexander Williams from Adelaide University. Kaylin Routley from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. Luke Purdy from Hunter Valley Grammar School. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our national champions and our medalists in the under-19 men's quad scull. And now we go to the under-19 men's Coxed 8 final with Scotch College Adelaide in lane 2, Norwood International High in a composite with St Peter's College and Unley High School in lane 3. So that's what a lot of South Australian crews, my goodness. In lane 4, Hutchins School from Tasmania. In lane 5, Prince Alfred College from South Australia. In lane 6, St Peter's College from South Australia. And in lane 7, a composite between Prince Alfred College and the Pembroke School. So the Scotch College Adelaide crew in lane 2 is Nathan Derogi, Oliver Pern, Mitchell Lucas, Sam Young, Max Brammy, Oscar Kittle, Patrick Keenan and Lee Wingard, with Tom Wright coxing them. Their coach is James Seppelt.
And James Seppelt, a very successful lightweight rower himself in days gone by, of course.
Yes. Great to see coaches coming back into rowing again.
The Hutchins School leading currently, Lizzie.
And that's the crew of Josh Fielding in the bow seat, Brodie Wills, James Moy, Hugo Wilkins, Charles Lee Song, Oliver Hart, Sam Meikle, Henry Pitt and Angus Watling, who is coxing them, and they're coached by Mark Stott.
And former national team athlete Nathan Bowden coaching the Prince Alfred College crew that's in second place.
Indeed, with Edward Chappell, Louis Dawson, Angus Williams, Eli Roberts, Jack Wilkins, Sam Stunnell, Samuel Ramelji and Max Garnett rowing. Alex Hamoud is their cox.
Bridget Carlisle coaching the St Peter's College crew. So the two South Australian crews chasing the leaders from Tasmania.
And that St Peter's College crew, Bridget Carlisle, who in the past coached the St Catherine's Victoria crew. Here she's coaching Joseph Harrington, Oscar Worm, Vincent Barone, Josh Myers, George Griffith, Lawrence Anderson, George Wicks and Hugh Hazel, with Lachlan Hunt coxing them.
And the two composite crews.
So in lane 3, we have a composite of Archie Young from St Peter's College, Nate Lesu from Unley High School, Christian Yates from Unley High, Hunter Ingham from St Peter's, Harrison Gray from St Peter's, Josh Thompson from St Peter's, Nicholas Halulos from Norwood International High, Oliver Evans-Wood from Norwood International High and Daniel Wickham, their cox. They are coached by Wade Hall-Craggs, who hails from GB, and Brenton Terrell.
Yes, I've seen Brenton almost every day up here. And at the rear is the Prince Alfred composite crew, is it?
It is, but what a great experience for these guys to jump together in an 8. It's Angus Fremantle, Hugo Knight, both from Prince Alfred College, William Harvey, Tom O'Mahony, Charlie Miller and Tom Archer from the Pembroke School, and then Charles Wundenberg and Oliver Smith from Prince Alfred College. Jed Watson is coxing them, and they're coached by Emily El-Khoury, Simon Lane and Sally Martin.
And it's still the Hutchins School that took the lead in the early stages, that leads the Tasmanian crew, one of the strongest rowing programs in Tasmania. And they're under-19 men's Coxed 8 looking to get onto the presentation dais and then be in the middle of that dais with gold medals around their neck. In second place is the crew from Prince Alfred College from South Australia. Nathan Bowden doing a terrific job there since he's turned his hand to coaching after a successful rowing career. And then back is the St Peter's College crew, also from South Australia. I'm not sure who won the Head of the River. It was only the same, that was last Saturday, I think, wasn't it? The Head of the River in South Australia? Pretty sure it was. I think it was Tasmania, South Australia and New South Wales were all on the same day.
Oh, right, there we go. Yeah, we've certainly got some coaches of note here. Sally Corsby is, as you would have known her, Sally Martin as she is now, is the head of Pembroke School rowing now. We remember her as a lightweight, racing with Amber Halliday,
yep.
and doing a great job bringing lots of kids from Pembroke School, which is known as a rowing school, but it's good to see their increase in numbers.
Yep, Sally Corsby was part of a few national teams before my time, but yes, that was that great lightweight squad that Adrian David.
Under Adrian David, yes, indeed. And I think she was Australian Rower of the Year in 2002. Very popular and very accomplished.
But the Hutchins School have got the lead, and the fight now is for silver and bronze. I think Hutchins have got the measure of all the other crews. The St Peters College crew, James McRae was coaching at St Peters. They won the national championship in Tasmania a couple of years ago. And, at the moment, it's Bridget Carlisle who's coaching. They're going out after the Prince Alfred College crew. No rivalry at all between the two South Australian crews. Cox State. Silver and bronze still to be determined between the two South Australian crews. Prince Alfred College in lane 5, St Peters College in lane 6. Prince Alfred hanging on to that lead. St Peters throwing everything at them bar the kitchen sink. Prince Alfred will be second, St Peters will be third. Fourth will be the Scotch College crew from Adelaide. Sixth will be Prince Alfred Composite crew. 3-2. The margin's 1.34 by 1.34, and so St Peters beat Prince Alfred College last week for 9 in a row. St Peters, well done to them. Thank you to Andrew Darcy for that information. I'm stepping out now. Lizzie will bring you the next presentation, and I think Owen next will be coming in to take my place.
Thank you, Ray. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Coxed 8 Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Stephen Donnelly, President of Rowing New South Wales. Third place and bronze medalists, Queenwood School, Sydney Rowing Club Composite. Brooke Cuttons. Grace Bennett. Annie Sieve. Zara Taylor. Gemma McLaren. Zoe James. Eva Thompson and Addison Rolls. Their cox, Zara Milner. The crew was coached by Kieron Glynn and Ray Boyle. Second place and silver medalists, Seymour College. Annie McNally. Abigail Worm. Sasha Humble. Georgia Walters. Grace Barrera. Daisy Holland. Isabella Lease. Ella Mackay. And their cox, Sasha Walker. The crew was coached by Joe Franco. And And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, St Catherine's School, New South Wales. Bianca Rupnik-Williams, Alice Steed, Evelyn Stigter, Madeline Mannins, Isabel Yardley, Chelsea Baker, Madeline Swain, and their cox, Jasmine Abela. The crew was coached by Jared Watson and Richard Coakley. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our national champions and our medalists in the under-19 Women's 8.
We're moving on now to the race number 437. It is the final of the women's under-21 quad sculls. So lane 1, we have a Mercantile Swan River composite. Lane 2, we have a North Esk Mersey composite. Lane 3, Sydney Rowing Club and Yarra Yarra composite. Lane 4, it's a University of WA West Australian Adelaide and West Australian composite. Lane 6, UTS and Sydney University. Number 8 from Commercial and Griffith University. The crew out in lane number 3 with the early leads. We have Zara Kafuri from Yarra Yarra, Madison Joins from Sydney, Lisa Page from Sydney and Talisa Noak Driver from Sydney, coached by Lachlan Carter, Florence Griffiths and David Orchard. So you can see them just coming up now towards the 500 metre timing point, and Sydney Yarra Yarra composite with the early lead through that through the first stages. We've got Sydney University in lane number 7 sitting in second, and then not a lot to pick between the rest of the field. So sitting in third place, we've got North Esk and Mersey, Mercantile Swan River in 4th, Commercial Griffith University, Surfers Paradise in 5th, UTS Sydney University in 6th, then a Sydney Toowong West Australian composite in 7th, and then the University of WA, West Australian Adelaide University and Toowong, the Licorice All Sorts, making up the field at the back of the pack. Seeing now the crew from Sydney and Yarra Yarra, Zara Kafuri in the bow seat of that one with the red of the Yarra Yarra Rowing Club. Over on the left-hand side, the Sydney University crew is Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Fickers, Imogen Gray, Zoe Bond, and coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. Some absolute talent going on in this rowing down the course in this field. Lane 8 from Commercial and Griffith University, Surfers Paradise. We have Sarah Scobie from Commercial, Paris Reed from Commercial, Gemma Jansen Van Vuren from Griffith University, Surfers Paradise, and Lucy White from Commercial. They're coached by Jacinta Edmonds and Anthony Cook. As we just see here, the Sydney Yarra Yarra composite still sitting very comfortably out in front, sculling wonderfully there, and just opening up a nice little gap up towards the 1,000 metres as they head up towards that midway point. Sydney University in lane number 7. We've got lane 2 sitting in 3rd. They're in the bronze medal position. That's the Tasmanian crew of Layla Hucker from North Esk, Olivia Yates from Mersey, Ella Spalding from Mersey, and Tess Clower from North Esk. They're coached by David Tippett and Trevor Barrett. So Sydney Yarra Yarra, Sydney University, North Esk Mersey, and then again, nothing to pick between the rest. We've got a Sydney composite in 4th place, Griffith University and Commercial in 5th, UTS Sydney University in 6th, Mercantile Swan River in 7th, and then the University of West Australian composite in 8th place.
Cracking shots coming through there, Stuart, delivered by BMA and their photography team, and of course John Meekings, the local guy who's been here ever since this facility opened. But some very polished rowing indeed.
Yeah, and we get some fantastic views. You know, you normally get some really good views when you're up here for Rowing New South Wales regattas, and then you can see here the drone footage, the footage from the vans going alongside the roads gives you a really good idea of exactly where everyone's sitting. And dare say that Sydney University crew of O'Brien, Fickers, Gray and Bond have just started to close the gap a little bit on the Sydney Yarra Yarra crew. Certainly this crew out in the lead. You can see them still sitting comfortably. A little bit of clear water between them, but not a lot more. And Sydney University just starting to close it up now. They're coming in towards the 1,500 metres. It's anyone's guess for third place. We've seen a big push from the Queenslanders in lane number 8, Commercial and Griffith University. Surfers Paradise, North-Esk Mersey Composite just dropping off the pace a little bit. Then we've got the UTS Sydney University Composite in lane 6, and then the Sydney Toowong West Australian Composite in lane number 5. Also in with a shot for a bronze.
Yes, it's lanes 2 and 8 that are fighting out the bronze medal currently, but I wouldn't dare predict who would get through. Oh, look at that. There's very little to choose between lanes 2 and 8, with North-Esk still just 0.11 seconds in front of Commercial, Griffith Uni for that bronze medal position, and Sydney Composite in station 5 on the improve as well.
But out in front, it is Sydney Rowing Club and Yarra Yarra Rowing Club still with that lead, still sitting very comfortably out ahead. They're coming up towards the 250 metre mark, coming up towards those red buoys that mark the end of the course. Sydney University in second place. You can see them on the screen there. The Sydney Yarra Yarra crew just moving ahead a little bit, and then it does look like over on the left-hand side that the Commercial Griffith University crew may just have gone through that North-Esk Mersey crew in the battle for bronze, and a big push coming here as well from the Sydney Toowong West Australian Composite, and then UTS and Sydney University, again, not entirely out of it, but with plenty to do through the final stages. In now to the last 200 metres, it is Sydney Yarra Yarra. They have led right from the start. They've extended that lead out. It did look like Sydney University were just starting to get a little bit of an overlap, but Sydney Yarra Yarra have powered through the final 500 metres or so. They've got some clear water between themselves and the chasing pack, and Sydney University look like they'll go through and take the silver medal. Who's got the battle for bronze? The Tasmanians have pushed hard over the final stages. It is going to be Sydney and Yarra Yarra with the win in the under-21 women's quad sculls. Second place in silver to Sydney University, and in the battle for bronze, is it Queensland or is it Tasmania? It's the Queenslanders with the bronze, just ahead of the North-Esk Composite in fourth place. Fifth will go to lane 5, that's Sydney Toowong West Australia. University of W and Toowong Composite in 8th place.
Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Coxstate Championship of Australia. Presented by Mr. Chris Ulrich, Rowing Victoria Councillor and former national team athlete. In third place and winners of the bronze medal, St Peter's College from South Australia. Joseph Harrison. Oscar Worm. Vincent Barone. Josh Myers. George Griffith. Lawrence Anderson. George Wicks. Strokers Hugh Hazel. And the cox is Lachlan Hunt. Coach Bridget Carlisle. In second place, winners of the silver medal, Prince Alfred College from South Australia. Edward Chappell. Louis Dawson. Angus Williams. Eli Roberts. Jack Wilkin. Sam Stunnell. Samuel Remelage. Max Garnett. And Alex Hamoud. And the coach is Nathan Bowden. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, the Hutchins School from Tasmania. Josh Fielding. Brody Wills. James Moy. Hugo Wilkins. Charles Leesong. Oliver Hart. Sam Meikle. Henry Pitt. And the coxswain is Angus Watling. And the coach, Mark Stott. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
We are underway in race number 438. It is the under-21 men's quad sculls. Lane 1, we have a Toowong University of Queensland composite. Lane 2, we have a canned University of Queensland, Toowong and Griffith University Surfers Paradise composite. Lane 3, Hawthorn, Canberra and Corio Bay composite. Lane 4, UTS Haberfield. Lane 5, Sydney Rowing Club. Lane 6, Adelaide University. Lane 7, Sydney University. And then Lane 8, Mercantile and Wendouree Ballarat composite. So a few composites in this race and also a few all-club crews. And first, second and third have 0.28 of a second between them. That's the canned composite, UTS Haberfield and the Hawthorn composite. Absolutely nothing between them through 1,000 metres. Adelaide University then sitting in 4th place. Sydney Rowing Club in 5th. Sydney University in 6th. Mercantile Wendouree Ballarat in 7th. And then the Toowong University of Queensland composite in 8th place. So that canned composite theoretically out in front, but not a lot between it. Charles Clark, Nicholas Barlow, Patrick Murphy, Chad Willett, coached by Christopher Holliday, Randall Martin and Scott Rowe. Next to them in lane number 3. What a great view here from the boats. You can see lane 3 in the middle there. It's Charles Rardon, Jesse Rosen, William Hexter and Max Curry. You can see Jesse Rosen from Canberra Rowing Club at the bow or the back of that one. And then UTS, the crew of Tane Potts, Harry Birchmore, Oscar Barigi, Jack Power, coached by Matthias Ungermack and Sam Vennessy. They are our 3 leading crews, with the Hawthorn composite and UTS Haberfield just pulling slightly ahead, only about a canvas in it between first and third. The canned composite in lane number 2 sitting in 3rd place at the moment. So Ray, this is going to be a battle right down to the wire for this one.
And don't write off Adelaide University in 6 and Sydney University in 7. Adelaide University in 6 are trying to push out their Stewart. That's Jude Shermer, Edward Chipperfield, Jasper Boyce, Hugo Worm, and coaches Sam Morton, Nicholas Mitchell and Christine McLaren. So they're doing a great job as well. But it's a cracking race for the first three, headed by the Hawthorn Composite crew at the moment.
Yeah, Sydney sitting in 5th, Sydney University in 6th, Wendouree, Ballarat and Mercantile Composite in 7th, and the Toowong University of Queensland crew out in 8th. The big push now coming from UTS, and there's that big push as well coming from Adelaide University, as you said there, Ray. So UTS sitting in lane 4. They've moved out now to about 3/4 of a boat length lead over lanes 3 and 4. That's the Hawthorn, Canberra, Corio Bay Composite, and then the Cairns University of Queensland, Toowong, Griffith University Surfers Paradise Composite. Adelaide University not out of it yet. 250 metres left to go. UTS have really pushed through that third 500 metres. They've extended that lead out. Here comes the push now from the Queenslanders in lane number 2. Adelaide University in lane 6, also pushing hard. Are they able to go through and get a bronze? We're down to the last 150 metres. UTS through that final stages have absolutely floored it. They've extended that lead out now. It's 3/4 of a boat length. There's still a little bit of an overlap, but with 50 metres to go, it does look like UTS are going to go through and take the win. It's between Hawthorn Composite and Cairns Composite for the silver. Cairns Composite with their bow ball just out in front. A win for UTS. Second place, well, we'll see the photo there. It might have been, I think it was the Cairns Composite just in second place on the surge ahead of the Hawthorn Composite. Fourth place will go to Adelaide University in lane number 6. 5th and 6th will be between Sydney and Sydney University. I think Sydney just over the top of Sydney University by about the width of the bow number. 7th place will go to the Mercantile, Wendouree, Ballarat Composite in lane 8, with Toowong and University of Queensland in 8th place. So half a second between 2nd and 3rd. It was the Cairns Composite getting up over the Hawthorn Composite for the silver medal. But UTS, the Cairns University of Queensland, Toowong, Griffith University Surfers Paradise Composite with the silver, and Hawthorn, Canberra and Corio Bay with the bronze.
Presentation of medals for the Under-21 Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Stephen Donnelly, President, Rowing New South Wales. In 3rd place, winners of the bronze medal, Commercial Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, represented by Sarah Scobie of Commercial, Paris Reed of Commercial, Gemma Jansen Van Buren of Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Lucy White of Commercial, and the coaches are Jacinda Edmonds and Anthony Cook. Unfortunately, our silver medalists are unavailable as they have another race to row. Their names: Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Figgers, Imogen Gray and Zoe Bond, coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. Australian champions for 2024, Sydney Rowing Club Yarra Yarra, represented by Zara Kafuri of Yarra Yarra, Madison Jones, Sydney, Liesl Page, Sydney, Talisa Noak Driver, Sydney Rowing Club, and the coaches Lachlan Carter, Florence Griffiths of Sydney and David Orchard of Yarra Yarra Rowing Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Waiting now at the start for race number 439. It's the Open Lightweight Women's Quad Scull. So just the two crews in this race. and certainly some familiar names in these crews. So we can see there we've got a Buckingham, ANU, Tasmania University and Corio Bay composite over on the far side, with a University of Western Australia crew in lane number 5. So that's closest to the screen there. So we're just waiting for the start, as we just tick over now to 9:20. So
the crews in this race, Stuart, open lightweight women's quadruple scull: Buckingham, ANU, Tasmania University, Corio Bay, Maggie Foley of Corio, Sophie Robinson, TasUni, Annika Reardon, ANU and the Australian Capital Territory High Performance Program, Verena Zilm of Buckingham Rowing Club, and the coaches Abby Crow and Paul Newbon. And in lane 5, University of Western Australia, Sienna Ptolemy, Izzy Emery, Hayley Rowe, Lara Glendinning, and the coaches Roland Warren, Leah Williams and Jonathan Jaschke.
Now, Ray, this is a nice little preview for tomorrow afternoon, because that University of WA crew is the Victoria Cup crew for Western Australia in the women's lightweight quad sculls. And the crew next to them is virtually the Tasmanian women's lightweight crew as well. So they've got Maggie Foley in as a sub, Phoebe Teal from the Tasmanian women's lightweight crew. But otherwise, Sophie Robinson, Annika Reardon, Verena Zilm, all rowing for Tasmania tomorrow afternoon. So a nice little indicator as to how things are going to go. You can see Maggie Foley there in the bow seat of that boat for Corio Bay with the very distinctive purple zooty. And it does look like through the ACT Academy of Sport, ACT High Performance Program, and just opening it up an early lead. Tasmania in the Victoria Cup, very strong record. They were silver medalists last year, and then before that they were 3 consecutive gold medals.
Absolutely, and they've got a proud history in the event, and the history of that, when it was a sweepboard race, I think Victoria won it for 15 times in a row. It was amazing. And then since it's become a quad scull, the honours have been shared around a far greater distribution of medals in that, or championships in that race, now that it's become a quad scull.
Yeah, and the funny thing about the Tasmanian crew, when they won their hat-tricker titles, it was at 3 different venues. So it was here in 2019, Barrington in 2021, Nagambie in 2022, New South Wales winning in 2023. As we just see the view from the spectators, from the grandstand, expecting the grandstand to fill up throughout the day, expecting to see plenty of people out at the Row Union Bar throughout the day as well. As we look down towards the competitors from the under-21 men's quad sculls, and certainly this Buckingham composite out in front and looking very comfortable. So a few changes in the Tasmanian crew. I think Annika Reardon is probably the consistent member of that crew, but rowers like Georgia Nisbet, as well as Eve Muir in a few of the crews over the past few years as well. So a changing of the guard, but certainly the Tasmanians will be very, very difficult to beat in this event.
And a shout out to Georgia Nesbitt, who's still recovering from that bicycle accident. I hope you're doing well, Nezzy. It's sculling nicely, isn't it? The Corio Bay scullers fitted in well there. I imagine the crew had trained as the interstate crew and have had to make a change, obviously, and the Corio Bay sculler certainly fitting in well. The blades are nice and parallel, the timing's good, both going. Some lead there.
A lot of work particularly in the lightweight space. I know that she's been in quite a few ANU composite crews. She's rowed with Alexandra Moylan, and I think a couple of years ago they went to Henley and raced in the women's quad sculls. It was Maggie Foley, Sophie Gerapatridis, Alexandra Moylan and Eve Muir who rowed at Henley. I think they rowed through a University of California crew in the first race they had at Henley, and then in the second one they were basically up against the USA women's quad. And so very difficult race there, but certainly very good indeed. As we just get a nice view of the University of West Australian crew, also looking very tidy there, Ray, with their tech.
Absolutely, yeah, they are looking good. You just mentioned Eve Muir. Eve, of course, is retired after last year's national championships and working in the family business in Tasmania. We miss the Muir family. Will and Judy often here at the national championships, whichever state it was held in, and supporting their children. But they're all working in the family business now, and we give them their best regards. We hope to see them in Lake Barrington next year.
I was about to say the Australian Rowing Championships going down to Lake Barrington next year, and certainly 3/4 of this crew will be looking to win the Victoria Cup again for Tasmania. There'd be something about it, wouldn't it, to win
Doing it at home. Yeah.
At home, yes.
Home of the 1990 World Championships, a beautiful Lake Barrington facility, and it's got a bit of age on it now, but beautifully maintained by a bunch of volunteers in Tasmania, including the likes of George Homer and John Oakley and Mick Goodger, and they do a fantastic job, and the facility's still in very good condition.
So Maggie Foley will be rowing in the Victoria Cup tomorrow. Obviously,
But for Victoria,
that Victorian crew: Ellie Brennan, Antionetta De Cosmo, Maggie Foley and Lucy De Gloria Cater, coached by Virginia Lee and Eleanor Crute. So I think the Tasmanians will be hoping that she doesn't get too many tips, but certainly this crew here.
So is Reardon a resident in the ACT?
Yeah, Nika's been up there. Anika's been up there for quite a while now. I think about 3-4 years or so. Still rows for Tasmania. Still rows for her state of origin.
Yep.
So very proud Tassie girl, and she's got a very distinctive bright blue cap that is always in the boat with her in every single race. So even when she's rowed for Australia, she'll have that blue cap sitting down round the foot plate, round the feet. Has to have that all with her. So a bit like Steve Orr's Lucky Red Rag.
Yeah. Well, if you rode at an international, if she had a blue cap on, everybody would have to have a blue cap on. So, that's the rules, the commonality of uniform. But a very, very impressive win coming up here to this Tasmanian and Corio Bay Composite Group. Buckingham, ANU, Tasmanian University, Corio Bay. I put the number 1 down quite some time back beside their name, and University of Western Australia will be in second place.
So a win there for Maggie Foley, Sophie Robertson, Anika Reardon and Verena Zilm. And then second place will go to the University of Western Australia, Sienna Ptolemy, Izzy Emery, Hayley Rowe, Lara Glendenning, coached by Roland Warren, Mia Williams and Jonathan Yaski.
656.08 and the margin 13.29. Presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. Medals will be presented by Mr. Chris Ulrich, Rowing Victoria Councillor and former national team athlete. Third place and bronze medalist, Hawthorn Canberra Corio Bay Composite. Charles Rarden of Corio. Jesse Rosen of Canberra. William Hexter of Hawthorn. And Max Curry of Hawthorn. Second place, winners of the silver medal, Canned, University of Queensland, Toowong, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Charles Clark of Griffith University. Nicholas Barlow of Toowong. Patrick Murphy of University of Queensland Boat Club. And the stroke Chad Willett of Canned Rowing Club. Coaches Chris Holliday, Randall Martin and Scott Rowe. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2024, University of Technology Sydney Haberfield Rowing Club. Tane Potts, Harry Birchmore, Oscar Barigi, and the stroke is Jack Power. The crew is coached by Matthias Ungermark and Sam Fennessy. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
So we are underway in race number 440. It's the Open Lightweight Men's Quad Sculls. Lane 2, we have a Toowong Griffith University and Commercial Composite. Lane 3, UTS Haberfield, Sydney University and Nepean. Lane 4, University of Queensland, Tasmania University and Toowong. Lane 5, Banks Mercantile, Melbourne University. Lane 6, Mercantile Banks. And Lane 7, Tasmania University, Black Mountain and Newcastle University. And lanes 3, 4 and 5 all looking strong out towards the front through the first stages of this race. So still only very early days, but lanes 3, 4 and 5. That's UTS Composite in lane 3, Uni of Queensland Composite in lane 4, and the Banks Composite in lane number 5. And unsurprisingly there, Ray, there's some familiar names that are going to be rowing together tomorrow, but with 1 oar each instead of 2.
Yes, the Penrith Cup is still for sweep oars. Began many, many years ago, and the trophy donated by the Penrith City Council. Different eras of domination, haven't there? You know, South Australia had an era, Victoria had an era. There was a little era for Queensland as well. And, I did in commentary hope to live long enough to see Queensland won it, and then they had quite a run in the Darren Purcell days when Darren was rowing for Queensland.
So leading two crews in lanes 4 and 5. So the lane 5 crew, Jordan Roberts from Mercantile, Damien Schroeder from Melbourne University, Benjamin Whitney from Mercantile, and Nick Zigader from Banks Rowing Club. Ahead of the University of Queensland, Tasmania University Toowong Composite of Sam Parry, Angus Painter, Riley Williams, Liam McCoy, coached by Michael Russell, Mark Game and Sean Finlayson. The New South Wales crew is in lane number 3, so that's UTS Sydney University Nepean Composite of Nicholas Mathua, Jason Waddell, Wyatt Batt, Zinc Bosco, coached by Sam Fennessy, Thomas Larrick and Daniel Waddell. They're just starting to drop off a little bit now, so it's between Queensland and Victoria for the lightweight quad sculls. Remember, the Penrith Cup tomorrow will be in the 4s, and you can just see there fantastic footage of the way that the boats surge over the line. And so often when you get a really tight race, it is literally down to who's just taken a stroke over the finish line. Lanes 4 and 5, bow ball to bow ball. It's going to be a fascinating race over the next 1,000 metres. UTS Haberfield Composite sitting in 3rd, Tasmania University, Black Mountain, Newcastle University in 4th, Toowong Composite in 5th, and then Mercantile Banks back in 6th place. So it all to play for between the Queenslanders and the Victorians out in front. New South Wales sitting in 3rd place. We do have a couple of the ACT crew. Alex Tomanovitz is rowing in the Mercantile Banks Composite in lane 6, and then Matthew Ricard is rowing in the Tasmania University Composite in lane number 7. They'll be rowing with Jono Adams and Ishan Shalika tomorrow, and I think it's our first lightweight 4 since 2019, last time that it was here.
Alex Tomanovitz, that's a very proud Victorian surname.
It is. I think he spent a bit of time down there. He was definitely with Canberra Rowing Club for a number of years. Now moved back down to Victoria, but is rowing for the ACT tomorrow.
Okay. Yep.
Very quick rower too.
Yeah, this is bow ball to bow ball stuff here between lanes 4 and 5, Stuart.
Yeah, it's the Victorians up against the Queenslanders, so it'll be fascinating to see as they go through the 1500 timing point. There is absolutely nothing between it. Who has it? Who absolutely wants it more? Who's got the energy left in the legs? Because a number of these rowers have already gone down the course a number of times, and for the lightweights in particular, you've got to make sure you're staying under those weights. Banks Composite, University of Queensland Composite, 0.06. If you can pick that now, then you're doing extremely well. We've got the UTS Composite in third place. They're looking comfortable for the bronze. Then the Tasmania University Composite in fourth, Toowong Composite in fifth, and then Mercantile Banks Composite in sixth. We saw yesterday, Ray, the lightweight men's eights was absolutely down to the line, and we're up for another one here today. Get excited, folks. It is going to be an absolute cracker. It's the Open Lightweight Men's Quad Sculls. It is the University of Queensland Composite up against the Banks Composite in lanes 4 and 5. Have the Victorians now just managed to get themselves just a tick out in front. There's 250 metres to go. You can see the pain, the power coming through from our two leading crews. UTS Haberfield, Sydney University and Nepean Composite sitting nicely in third place at the moment. They've got the bronze pretty well to go, provided they can hold off the Tasmanian University Composite in lane number 7. But out in front now, it's the University of Queensland and Banks Composite crews. There's nothing in it. They're into the final stages. We've got about 100 metres left to go. It's the Victorians, the Queenslanders. They're both surging. A couple of big strokes left. There is nothing in it. It's going to come down to the final strokes. It is the Victorians by a bow number. The Banks Composite by a bow number on the surge ahead of the University of Queensland Composite. Third will go to UTS Haberfield. Fourth place going to the Tasmania University Composite. Fifth to Mercantile Composite in lane number 5. And then sixth to the Toowong Composite in lane 6. Ray, I'm just going to take a deep breath and because that was just amazing.
And I don't think it was 0.44. I think it was less than that. So, yeah, well called, Stuart. They've called for a doctor for Stuart up here, ladies and gentlemen. Presentation of medals for the Open Lightweight Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals to be presented by Mr. Phil Mangelsdorf, President of Rowing South Australia. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Buckingham ANU, Tasmania University, Corio Bay. Maggie Foley of Corio Bay, Sophie Robinson of Tas Uni, Anika Reardon of Adelaide of ANU Boat Club, Australian National University Boat Club, and the stroke Verena Zilm of Buckingham Rowing Club. And the coaches are Abby Crow and Paul Newbon. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Stunning views here of the Sydney International Regatta Centre as we head down towards the start of race number 441. It is the under-23 women's quad sculls. And this is a very talented crew very talented crews here. So lane 1, we've got Sydney Rowing Club, supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Lane 2, University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS and Centenary Composite, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. Lane 3, we've got Sydney University, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport and New South Wales Institute of Sport. Lane 4, Banks Rowing Club. Lane 5, Griffith University, Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University, supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport. Lane 6, Toowong, Tasmania University, Adelaide and West Australian Composite. And lane 7, we've got a Mersey, Canberra and Tasmania University Composite. So the women's under 23 quad sculls, and a large number of these rowers have been picked in the 2024 Australian under 23 rowing team. So we'll go through those as we go. They are now underway, Ray.
Yep, off to a cracking start and great shots coming from the BMA drone and through the truck there with John Williamson coordinating all of that. And we thank them for the vision that they bring to us. And the early leaders are in lane 7, Stuart, the Mersey Tas Uni composite crew, but pushed right through then, as I said, it was the crew in station 5.
Yeah, that's Griffith University, Melbourne University crew, Lindsay Calvert, Livia Rosea, Romy Cantwell, Danica Free, coached by Christopher Holliday and Duncan Free. So Romy Cantwell was picked in the under-23 women's double along with Danica Free. So they've got the under-23 Australian women's double in the middle of that quad. Then over in lane 2, we've got Jessica and Sophie Malcolm, the two sisters from Centenary. Then Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot. Eliza Bridgefoot and Sophie Malcolm have been picked as half of the under-23 women's quad.
And Hannah Kenway and Eliza Bridgefoot won the double scull.
So plenty of talent there. Lane 1 from Sydney Rowing Club as well. Grace Cypher, Caitlin McManus-Barrett, Isabella Scammell and Laura Cypher. Grace Cypher's the under-23 lightweight women's single sculler. Caitlin McManus-Barrett and Isabella Scammell have been picked in the under-23 women's fours. There is so much talent in this race. And it is lane number 5, the Griffith University and Melbourne University composite, but they're just behind the University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS and Centenary composite, and Sydney Rowing Club up there as well. So they're our 1, 2 and 3. Just under a boat length lead for the Uni of Queensland composite, head of Sydney, Griffith composite, Toowong composite, Sydney University, Mersey composite, and then the Banks Rowing Club towards the back of the field, although it does look like that Mersey composite just dropping off the pace a little bit. Sydney University composite is a talented one as well, because you've got Tiffany Bota, Zoe McKellar, Zoe Bond, Sophia Whiteman, coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett. And again, a number of former junior representatives in that crew as well.
So we can see Hannah Kenway in the 2 seat here. She was able to win the double scull with Eliza Bridgefoot, and a big shout out to her original coach, Peter Howard. Peter Rowdy Howard, Brisbane and GPS, has not been well lately, but I'm sure he's feeling much, much better to see the progress that Hannah Kenway has made, and to see her on the dais winning a gold medal yesterday would have gladdened his heart, I feel sure.
So our leading crew is that Queensland's composite. So Centenary, Brisbane and GPS and the University of Queensland, but it's a boat length in it between them, Griffith University, Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University in lane 5, and then Sydney Rowing Club in lane number 1. So we've got another sister act here. We've got the Cypher sisters from Sydney and the Malcolm sisters from Centenary battling it out.
It's a family sport, Stuart. It's a family sport.
I'm still waiting to get my 3 younger brothers all into a John Quad or a John 4. Maybe get the old man to cox it as well. But certainly...
see the QAS coaches there, Gus Rodero and Ben Southwell on their bicycles, both with their helmets on. Well done. And their crew has got almost a length lead over this very talented Sydney N-Swiss crew. And then back to the crew from Griffith Uni, Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University. As you said, Livia Rosea of Melbourne Uni and Romy Cantwell of Melbourne Uni, VIS, both of them. Lindsay Calvert and Danica Free of Griffith Uni, Surfers Paradise, and Chris Holliday and Duncan Free coaching it. The double scull you referred to earlier with Danica Free in it, their steering has gone right off there. I don't know what's happened there. Their compass is broken, but Duncan Free is coaching that crew to the Under-23 World Championships in St Catharines.
So it is the University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS, Centenary composite, still with that lead through 1,250 metres and looking very comfortable indeed, but we've now got a bit more of an overlap from that Sydney Rowing Club crew in lane number 1. So are they able to hold on? And then we've just seen, and it did look to be an issue there with that Griffith University, Melbourne University composite crew. And I do think, yeah, they've just dropped off a fair amount.
They were sideways there for a little while. I don't know whether they had a dirty stroke.
I think they've gone over a couple of lanes.
Okay.
So there's some issues with the steering there. So unfortunately, they've dropped off. So it's now really a race into, can Sydney Rowing Club make it up on the Queensland Composite in lane number 2? So it's lane 1 and lane 2. The coaches in the peloton will have the best view there. It's 2 seconds between first and second as we just wait to see who is now in the bronze medal position. Well, it's still Griffith Uni, Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University in the bronze medal position, opening up a bit of clear water over the Sydney University crew in 4th place. So 7 seconds between 3rd and 4th. It's only 2 seconds between 1st and 2nd. We've got the Toowong Composite sitting in 5th ahead of Banks Rowing Club, and then the Mersey, Canberra and Tasmania University Composite towards the back of the field there. So out in front now, the University of Queensland Composite have led right from the start, looking very comfortable, not expending any extra energy. It always looks so easy when you see the absolute best rowers going at it. They've extended it out just a couple of strokes. They've managed to put a little bit more of a gap on the Sydney Rowing Club crew in lane number 1. And now with about 200 metres left to go, here comes the push from Sydney Rowing Club. Are they able to make up a boat length over 200 metres over a very talented University of Queensland, Brisbane and GPS Centenary Composite?
University of Queensland Composite on about 35 strokes to the minute, and the crew from Sydney is lifting and have taken their rate higher than that, and still Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise hanging on to the 3rd place after that mishap earlier.
So it's Brisbane and GPS, University of Queensland and Centenary. It's going to be in the battle of the Sister Act boats. It's going to be the Queensland Composite to go through and take the win in the under-23 women's quad sculls. Sydney Rowing Club take the silver, with coming through in 3rd place. It will be the crew in lane number 5. Griffith University, Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University will go through with a couple of big strokes left and take the bronze. 4th place will go to Sydney University in lane number 3, and then 5th will be the crew in lane 6. That's Toowong, Tasmania University, Adelaide and West Australian rowing clubs. 6th place will go to the Banks crew in lane number 4, with 7th being the Mersey, Canberra and Tasmania University crew in lane number 7.
The winning time 6:37.07 and the margin 2.24 by 15.81. The presentation of medals for the Open Lightweight Men's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Mick Casey, President and Councillor for Rowing Tasmania. Third place and bronze medal, UTS Haberfield, Sydney University, Nepean Rowing Club. Nicholas Mather of UTS, Jason Waddell of Nepean, Wyatt Batt of Sydney University, and Zink Bosco of UTS. Coaches Sam Fennessy, Tom Lorich and Daniel Waddell. Second place and silver medalist, University of Queensland, Tasmania University and Toowong. Sam Parry of Toowong, Angus Painter of Tasmanian University Boat Club, Riley Williams of University of Queensland Boat Club, and Liam McCoy, University of Queensland Boat Club. And the crew is coached by Michael Russell, Mark Game and Sean Finlayson. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Banks Mercantile, Melbourne University. Jordan Roberts, Mercantile Rowing Club. Damien Schroeder, Melbourne University Boat Club. Benjamin Whitney of Mercantile Rowing Club. And Nick Zegeda of Banks Rowing Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
We are underway in race number 442, and it's the Big Boat Energy coming down the course. We have the under-23 men's Cox States, and therefore they're rowing for the Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen's Trophy, and it's going to be a very tight race just looking at the start there. So lane 1, we have Swan River, Fremantle and West Australian Composite. In lane 2, UTS Haberfield. Lane 3, Swan River, Fremantle, Buckingham and Commercial Composite. Lane 4, Adelaide University and Adelaide Composite. Lane 5, Sydney Rowing Club. No lane 6, but then lane 7, we have a Canned Mercantile Composite. And Ray, quite a few of these crews supported by their state institutes of sport.
It's a high-quality group of under-23s here, and they're rowing for the Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen Trophy, one of our institutes and academies here. And the future of Australian rowing, I suppose, amongst these young people.
Yeah, look, and again, these are the guys that in 2032 are going to be exactly the right age to be rowing for Australia. Absolutely nothing to pick in between it. UTS through the first 500, leading by a second over Canned Mercantile, Adelaide University and Adelaide Composite. Just behind them, then the Swan River Composite and Sydney Rowing Club crew supported by NSwiss. And there was about 2 seconds between first and fifth through the first 500 metres, then back a little bit to the Swan River Composite in sixth place. So
very little to choose between those two leading boats. The Canned Composite crew on this side, closest to the camera, Zach Nixon, Dom Frederico, Oliver Scalzo, Jake Polkinghorn, Jared Lord, Austin Reiner, Darcy Watter, Mitch Salisbury, John O'Cook, the coxswain, coaches Al Matthews, Scott Rowan, Miller Road.
And then that UTS crew in lane number 2, Oliver St. Pierre, James O'Meara, Joe Lynch, Mackenzie Thompson, Henry Blackwell, Brandon Smith, Nicholas Pender, Joshua Wilson, coxed by Ryder Taylor and coached by Matthias and Judith Ungermack.
And they're certainly the leading crew in lane 2, aren't they, over the Canned Composite crew, Canned Mercantile Composite crew on this side of the course, albeit only about a canvas or so.
Yeah, there's not a lot to pick between them. Not a lot to pick between the Canned or the Mercantile Zooties either.
No, they blend in. And lane 5 is in third place there. Sydney Rowing Club, Toby Tegg, Charlie Hine, Isaac Thurnman, Declan Glendinning, Alec Hoskin, MacArthur Bucknell, Bradley Graham, Miles Harold, Teresa Harris as the cox, and the coaches Donovan Seck and Shane Mulvaney.
Just behind them in fourth place, the Adelaide Uni, Adelaide Composite, Max Henry, Arthur Drayton, Jude Shermer, Jasper Boyce, Henry Belcher, Edward Chipperfield, Adam Holland, Jake Nesbitt. Anand Holloway is the coxswain, and they're coached by Bridget Carlisle and Sam Morton. And you can tell Sydney Rowing Club are in here, Ray, because we've got Chris McCarthy standing behind us, chewing his fingernails. If you chews them any further, they're going to look like mine.
And we've got the Mercantile Canned boat is named the Mal Batten, and Mal, of course, is the president of Mercantile Rowing Club these days. As the UTS crew put on a push there and move slightly further in the lead.
So Sydney Rowing Club moving up. It's still Canned Mercantile up against UTS Haberfield. Sydney Rowing Club now moving up and moving up strongly through the third 500 metres, and then we're back to the Adelaide University Composite, then to the Swan River Composite. in lanes 1 and 2. Swan River Composites, one in lane 1, one in lane number 3. The peloton coming down the course, and fantastic to see they're all wearing their helmets.
And some very talented riders who can look at a stopwatch and ride one-handed at the same time.
Through the final timing point, and there is nothing in it. It is a second between UTS, Cairn Mercantile and Sydney. What a big push it's been from the Sydney Rowing Club crew. Adelaide University in 4th, Swan River Composite in lane number 1 in 5th, and then the second Swan River Composite in lane 3 towards the back of the field. We've now got, again, 3 boats heading up towards the finish and not a lot to pick between them. Cairn Mercantile Composite, closest to the grandstand. You can see them there. Then we've got Sydney Rowing Club in the middle, UTS in lane number 2, and UTS just getting their bow. Cairn Mercantile Composite have it all to do if they are to go through and take the win. It seems like we know who the crews are going to be that get the gold, silver and bronze. Well, who's going to get what medal? UTS pushing up now. They're into the last 150 metres. Here comes Sydney Rowing Club. Cairn Mercantile, have they got another push in them to go through to the finish? The crowd are cheering on their crews. It's UTS, Sydney, Cairn and Mercantile. Bow ball to bow ball. UTS just out in front. Sydney pushing ahead of Cairn and Mercantile. UTS over in lane number 2 though. Have they managed to get their canvas out in front? It will be a win in the under-23 Cox States for UTS. Sydney with the silver, Cairn Mercantile with the bronze, and only a little bit between all 3 of those crews. 4th place to lane number 4. That's Adelaide University and Adelaide, with 5th going to the Swan River Fremantle West Australian Composite in lane number 1, and then the Swan River Fremantle Buckingham and Commercial Composite making up our field there. And what a fantastic finish there, UTS holding on for the win.
5:47.10 the time, and the margin 1.2 by 0.94 at the end of a cracking race. Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Phil Mangelsdorf, President of Rowing South Australia. In 3rd place, winners of the bronze medal, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and Melbourne University Boat Club. Lindsay Calvert of Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Livia Rosea of Melbourne University Boat Club. Romy Cantwell of Melbourne University Boat Club. Danica Free of Griffith University Surfers Paradise Rowing Club. The coaches Chris Holliday and Duncan Free. 2nd place and silver medalist, Sydney Rowing Club, New South Wales Institute of Sport. Grace Cypher. Caitlin McManus-Barrett. Isabella Scammell. And the strokers Laura Cypher. The crew coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. Gold medalist and Australian champions for 2024, University of Queensland Boat Club, Brisbane and GPS Rowing Club and Centenary Rowing Club, and Queensland Academy of Sport. Jessica Malcolm of Centenary, Sophie Malcolm of Centenary, Hannah Kenway of Brisbane and GPS, and Eliza Bridgefoot of the University of Queensland Boat Club, and the coaches Ben Southwell and Augustine Rodero. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Thank you to Ray Abbott. Thank you for Stuart John for some magnificent work and commentary over the past hour or so. Some great racing in the last few finals here at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. We draw breath briefly for a little while. That's the end of our finals for now, but plenty of great racing still on the course. And we commence initially with the semi-finals of the schoolgirls single scull, and they are well into the third 500 metres of this race. Lily Bragg from St Patrick's Townsville, lane 1. Georgina Stevenson of the Winona School in 2, Gabrielle Ryan from All Hallows lane 3, Zara Turner, Bradford College lane 4, Alice McCready of Newcastle Grammar School in lane 5, Georgia Mortimer, St Luke's Anglican School lane 6, Constantina Kafasis of Wrighton Girls School in 7, and Lara Connolly from Shenton College in Western Australia is in lane 8. 4 to go through here to the A final of the schoolgirls single. The rest of the field will race in the B final. They're heading up towards the 1500 metre mark, and it's very tight between our top 3 scullers here on the course. The green boat there is of the All Hallows sculler from Brisbane, Gabrielle Ryan. Next to her sits Bradford College's Zara Turner, in probably in 3rd place, and 2nd is with Alice McCready from Newcastle Grammar School. About to come through 1500 metres. Now it does look like the lead is with the sculler there from the All Hallows School of Brisbane, the 2023 BSRA Head of the River champions, and very successful school at the Queensland Schools Championship Regatta held late last year as well. So it is Gabrielle Ryan there just ahead of Zara Turner and Alice McCready. A very tight battle for 2nd and 3rd, and 4th place also very important here. Georgina Stevenson of the Winona School of Sydney sits in 4th place at this stage with only now about 350 metres to go. Lily Bragg from St Patrick's College Townsville is in 5th place, but she's about 2.5 to 3 lengths away from the 4th place sculler. In fact, you can see those 2 scullers there, top of the screen. That's the race for the final qualifying spot. But Georgina Stevenson of the Winona School looks to be comfortable enough in 4th place. Lily Bragg behind her in 5th. Then it would be Georgia Mortimer of St Luke's Anglican School of Bundaberg, Constantina Kafasis of Wrighton Girls School in Melbourne, and Lara Connolly from Shenton College in 8th place. But we're into the final 250 metres now of this first of 2 semi-finals in the schoolgirls single scull. Just 4 spots on offer in tomorrow morning's A final, and lined up very close together across the centre of the course. It's still Gabrielle Ryan of All Hallows, Zara Turner from Bradford College, and Alice McCready from Newcastle Grammar, our clear top 3. And Georgina Stevenson from the Winona School sits relatively comfortably in 4th spot. The ratings fairly controlled in our leading scullers, so there's no suggestion of a late charge coming from elsewhere across the course. Lily Bragg and Georgia Mortimer, 2 scullers from Queensland, sit 5th and 6th here, but just outside the qualifying spots. But it is Gabrielle Ryan, the Richard Powell coach sculler from the All Hallows School in Brisbane, who would have the narrow lead still. It's certainly narrowed a lot, and Zara Turner of Bradford College has come home very strongly in lane 4 to a clear 2nd place, and he'll get very close to the win over the last couple of strokes of this race. But it is going to go the way of the green boat there, of the sculler from All Hallows School. Gabrielle Ryan takes the win. Zara Turner 2nd for Bradford College of the ACT. Alice McCready for Newcastle Grammar in 3rd place. And Georgina Stevenson of Winona finishes 4th. They will be our 4 qualifiers. And a gap back to the 4 B finalists now. Lily Bragg of St Patrick's in 5th place. 6th will go to St Luke's Anglican Georgia Mortimer from Wrighton Girls School. Constantina Kafasis in 7th, and Lara Connolly of Shenton College will finish in 8th spot as we welcome back Owen Nix to the commentary box.
Thanks, Richard. So we'll move shortly up the course to race 444 which is the second semi-final of the schoolgirl single scull. Starting to make its way up through the 1,000-metre mark. The field that we have: Georgia Brennan, Rockhampton Girls Grammar School in lane number 1. Freya Bateman from Loretto Kirribilli in lane 2. Alice Joyce from Christian College Geelong in lane 3. Emily Lang, Loretto Marriotteville in lane 4. Courtney Davis from Cathedral Townsville in lane 5. May Wayne of Scotch Oakburn in lane 6. In lane 7, Lily Rose Hall Krause, Seymour College. And in lane number 8, Danielle Watt, All Hallows.
And a bit closer here in the middle stages now of this race, certainly between our top 4 scullers, and there's really only about margins of a second or so between each of the 8 scullers in this second semi-final of the schoolgirl single scull. So the lead out halfway was with Courtney Davis from the Cathedral School in Townsville. So potentially here, Queenslanders in brightly coloured sculls could win the 2 semis of the schoolgirl single scull, and that is the red boat there of the sculler from North Queensland, Courtney Davis, who does have a narrow lead. And then right across towards the far side, lane 2, Loretto Kirribilli. That is Freya Bateman, and that is the battle for the lead as they go through the lines of boys here, almost swapping with each stroke, but possibly now the sculler from Loretto Kirribilli, who's coached by Amy Clay. That's Freya Bateman, our narrow race leader, ahead of Courtney Davis from the Cathedral School. And in between those two, Emily Lang from Loretto College Marriotteville in South Australia, coached by Dario Spitelli, who's had a very busy regatta here, racing in a number of club events as well. And then the sculler in lane 6 has moved through strongly in the third 500. Now that is May Wayne from Scotch Oakburn College in Launceston. She's coached by Hugh Baird and Greta Brown, and now looks to have got herself into a clear 4th spot ahead of Alice Joyce from Christian College Geelong, who was 4th in the head of the schoolgirls final 6 days ago in Geelong. Just dropping back a little through the field. Another Victorian on similar terms with her is Lily Rose Hall Krause from Seymour College, who's coached by Paul Somerville, but they currently sit 5th and 6th, so just outside the qualifying spots, but a very good third 500 there from Freya Bateman of Loretto Kirribilli, who leads it now by 1.40 seconds ahead of Courtney Davis from the Cathedral School, who in turn has just 0.08 of a second over Emily Lang from Loretto Marriotteville, and about 2 seconds then back to May Wayne of Scotch Oakburn College in Launceston. Now clearly in that all-important 4th and final qualifying spot. Lily Rose Hall Krause to move up a position there ahead now of Alice Joyce. So it's Seymour College 5th and Christian College Geelong in 6th place. And then the remaining 2 scullers as they come through the 1,500 metre mark. It was Danielle Watt of All Hallows and Georgia Brennan from Rockhampton Girls Grammar School, who look to be outside the qualifying spots. So there are our top 4 on screen now, and you can see once again they've separated into almost a separate half of this race. The 4 scullers out in front, who should be the ones to move through to the A final of the schoolgirls single scull. There will also be a B final in this event, so both of those will take place tomorrow morning. The B finals and the other minor finals, of course, first on the program, which begins tomorrow at the earlier time of 7:45 a.m. And the A finals, of course, will conclude our schools and club regatta before we get to the interstate racing at tomorrow afternoon's program. But into the final strokes of this race, still the top 4, not entirely clear the order they'll finish in. It looks like Scotch Oakburn's May Wayne has come through really strongly here, and is challenging for the lead now, I'd suggest, along with still that sculler from Loretto Kirribilli, Freya Bateman over in lane 2, who does sit still in 1st place. May Wayne of Scotch Oakburn from Loretto Marriotteville in 4th place. Lily Rose Hall Krause is coming home very strongly too for Seymour College lane 7. So it's going to be a win, a narrow win it looks like here, to Freya Bateman of Loretto Kirribilli over on the far side of the course by about 1/3 of a length ahead of Scotch Oakburn's May Wayne. Very tight also for 3rd and 4th, probably just Emily Lang ahead of Courtney Davis, but both will qualify. Lily Rose Hall Krause across now in 5th place for Seymour College, who will race in the B final tomorrow. Alice Joyce for Christian College Geelong will finish 6th. 7th will go to All Hallows, Danielle Watt. And 8th place from Rockhampton Girls Grammar School, it will be Georgia Brennan as we conclude race 444 of this regatta.
Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Men's Cox State Championship of Australia. And the medals will be presented by Mick Casey, the President and State Councillor for Rowing Tasmania. Third place and bronze medalist, Canned Mercantile, QAS, New South Wales Institute of Sport and Victorian Institute of Sport, the crew of Zach Nixon. Dom Frederico. Oliver Scalzo. Jake Pokinghorn. Jared Lord, Austin Reiner, Darcy Watter, and Mitch Salisbury. Coxswain Jono Cook, and their coaches Alistair Matthews, Scott Rowe, and Miller Rowe. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute. Represented by Toby Tegg. Charlie Hine. Isaac Thurnham. Declan Glendenning. Alec Hoskin. MacArthur Bucknell. Bradley Graham. Miles Harold. Boxed by Teresa Harris. And coached by Donovan Seck and Shane Mulvaney. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Oliver St. Pierre. James O'Meara. Joe Lynch. Henry Blackwell again. Mackenzie Thompson. Nick Pender. Brandon Smith. Joshua Wilson. Coxed by Ryder Taylor. And coached by Matthias Ungermark and Judith Ungermark. UTS Haberfield Rowing Club now being presented with the Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen Trophy. Henry Blackwell and the crew. Let's congratulate the 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Thanks, Owen. We just saw in the background of that presentation the conclusion of the first semi-final of the schoolboys single scull, which was won comfortably by the Scotch Oakman sculler from Launceston, Cameron Parker, ahead of Finn Redmond from Adelaide High School in South Australia in second place. Ruben Brosnan of Brisbane State High School in third. And qualifying with a very strong finish late in the race was the sculler from Lake Tuggeranong College in the ACT, Ben Hayward, who moved up into fourth place late in that race, beating home Tommy Polton of Kinross Walleroy, Ewan Johnson of State High, Logan Cavill of Bundaberg State High, and Caden Hatchett from Varsity College in Queensland. So through to the A final of the schoolboys single scull go Cameron Parker, Finn Redmond, Ruben Brosman and Ben Hayward.
In race 446, schoolboys single scull, second semi-final. Field we have Christian College Geelong, Elliot Renton Gibb in lane 1. John Nolan of Gregory Terrace in Brisbane in lane number 2. Remy Payne of Churchland Senior High School from Western Australia in lane 3. Harry Coddington of Northern Beaches Secondary College in Sydney in lane 4. Henry Chin of Cathedral Townsville in 5. Rhys Davey of Bacchus March Grammar School in Victoria in lane number 6. Jason McKenzie of Brisbane State High in lane 7. And James Clark of St Patrick's College in lane number 8.
It's the West Australian sculler who leads this race. Remy Payne of Churchlands Senior High School, coached by Kevin Neville. They're in the red colours with the big 3 number on his bow, ahead of the Northern Beaches Secondary College sculler Harry Coddington on lane 4, who's coached by Tom Schramko and Kieran Kabelke. We'll get a look here at the gap between those two scullers as they come through the 3/4-way mark of the race, and it's just short of a length and a half, 2.84 seconds in fact between Payne and Coddington, and quite a gap then back to the remainder of the field. Rhys Davey of Bacchus Marsh Grammar School and Jason McKenzie of Brisbane State High School. They're pretty comfortably in the qualifying spots, and then tight behind them, but a fair gap back to 5th and 6th. To be Henry Chin ahead of James Clark, John Nolan and Elliot Renton Gibb. But as was the case in the women's single scull and schoolgirls single scull, semis held previously, there's a pretty clear top 4 and a very clear leader 2 there in the form of Remy Payne from Churchlands Senior High School over in Western Australia. Mentioned a few times this week that the Victorian Schoolboys Head of the River and Schoolgirls Head of the River is taking place today. It's also the West Australian Schoolboys Head of the River too, taking place at the Champion Lakes course, where we of course sat about 12 months ago for the National Championship. So plenty of action from around the country happening in the world of rowing today, as well as here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre. But it's going to be a West Australian sculler, it looks like, take out his second semi of the schoolboys single scull. Still clear of Harry Coddington in second place. Rhys Davey from Bacchus Marsh Grammar School, and also the Essendon Rowing Club he's a member of, and rowing in their colours here as well, coached by Bill Nugent there. And Brisbane State High School's Jason McKenzie, who's coached by Tom Riles and Tom Herborn, looks set to become the 4th and final sculler through to the final of the schoolboys at single scull. They've had a good number of representatives in this race. State High, Ruben Brosman qualified from the first semi, and looks like they get 2 scullers through to the final of this race coming up tomorrow. But a comfortable win coming up to the sculler who'll take the middle lane in tomorrow's A final. Clear now by a bit over 2 lengths is Remy Payne from Churchland Senior High School. He comes across in first place in the second semi-final. Second place to Harry Coddington from Northern Beaches Secondary. Sculler there. Rhys Davey crossing third, about a length clear of lane 7. Jason McKenzie from Brisbane State High School. So they are our A finals, at least in the schoolboys single scull. Very tight for 5th and 6th place, possibly playing 2 John Nolan narrowly, but in fact James Clark, maybe. We'll wait and see on that one. And very close also for 7th and 8th. You think looks like John Nolan just took 5th ahead of James Clark. Then Elliot Renton Gibb and also Henry Chin of the Cathedral School Townsville will finish in 8th place.
Race 447 is the repechage, the first repechage of the schoolgirl Cox for it, taking place without Unley High School in lane number 2. So we have a field of 4. Genazzano from Victoria in lane number 3. Loretto College Ballarat in lane number 4. Roseville College in lane 5. And in lane number 6, Scotch College Adelaide. So top 2 to the A final and the remaining 2 to the B final.
Heat winners from yesterday's racing already qualified directly through to the A final. This is for the remaining 4 spots in that race tomorrow. So a field of 4 going for 2 qualifying spots, and 3 boats certainly very much in contention there. Loreto College from Ballarat, lane 3. Genazzano, in fact, Loreto lane 4, they're racing in here. So it's Roseville beside them, lane 5, who lead narrowly from Loreto and also Genazzano, the 3 crews here. Put quite a gap back then on Scotch College Adelaide as they head through still the second 500 metres of this race. The first repechage of 2 in the schoolgirls Cox 4, followed by the 2 semi-finals that'll be in the schoolboys at Cox 4. So some good school 4s racing on the course for the next few minutes here as we move through the 6th morning of racing at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championship. That is lane 5. The crew from Roseville, who lead it: Charlie Greibel, Emma DePries, Grace McKinley, Hannah Alexander and Alex Davies. They are coached by Jack Henderson. Roseville first, 1.36 seconds back to Loreto College Ballarat and 1.17 seconds back to Genazzano. So a good battle potentially between those 2 Victorian schools for the second and final qualifying spot. And Scotch College Adelaide do sit a couple of lengths further back off the pace in fantastic conditions here today, Owen. The forecast fairly friendly, I think, for today and the rest of the weekend as well.
Yeah, it's been pretty good conditions all week, and the Roseville crew looking fine there. Jack Henderson, the coach of that boat, who was part of the New South Wales Penrith Cup crew last year, and been a new addition to the Roseville coaching staff this season, and very capable guy, Jack Henderson. And got a nice little advantage over Loreto Ballarat in 2nd spot. So top 2 to the A final, rest through to the B final.
Loreto Ballarat, despite seemingly being around national regattas forever, actually began their rowing program in the early 2000s. So it's about 20 years or so they have been part of the school rowing program. They do have possibly the best location of all at the finish line of the Lake Wendouree course. Their school literally situated right across the road from the very short finish area to there at Ballarat. The course about 2,100 metres long if you're lucky. So we often see some great braking action when the 8s and the quads and 4s are coming down at speed on the 1956 Olympic course there. But Loreto College Ballarat certainly built a very strong rowing program over the past 20 years or so. They were the dominant girls' school at the head of the Lake Regatta a few weeks ago, sweeping the junior events and doing very well in the open races as well. And they are moving through here alongside Roseville College. So we thought it would be Loreto and Genazzano for 2nd and 3rd. Now it's looking like Loreto and Roseville for 1st and 2nd place. They'll both, if things stay as they are, qualify for the final of the schoolgirls Cox 4. And of course, it wouldn't be the final of the schoolgirls Cox 4 race without a couple of crews from Ballarat. We'll see Ballarat Clarendon, the defending champions, in the next repechage as well. So they'll have to go the long way around, but there is nothing between those 2 bow balls. Just it is the Loreto College combination getting the upper hand ever so narrowly. Now that Loreto crew is Lavinia Cushing, Tilly Stringer, Mia McTeague, Rosie Hunt and Tia Kinnersley. And 3rd place, Genazzano, about a length and a half there. You can see back in 3rd, Sophia Moran, Sophie Carter, Charlotte Hurlston, Zoe Caldwell and Sienna Wheeler, coached by Thomas Fisher and Peter Campbell. But they have certainly got the job in front of them now if they're to qualify from this first repechage of 2 in the schoolgirls at Cox 4. This is the Division 1 crew from Loreto Ballarat. We'll see their Division 2 crew also coming down in the next of the repechages, but it continues now to be with about 150 metres to row. A narrow lead still there to Loreto College from Ballarat, but Roseville alongside them equally comfortable in 2nd place after leading through the first sort of 1,450 metres or so of the race, and just seeing Loreto Ballarat go past them about 3/4 of the way through. So it looks like these 2 crews will move through fairly comfortably. Genazzano on the far side of the course in these great racing conditions are still there in 3rd. They are certainly doing all they can in the closing strokes. They might get within about a length of a qualifying spot, but unfortunately for them, no closer than that. There will be a B final also for the crews from Genazzano and Scotch College to race tomorrow. But the wind guards go by half a length to Loreto College Ballarat on lane 4, ahead of Roseville lane 5. They're both through to the A final of the Schoolgirls Cox 4. Third place goes to the crew from Genazzano, and fourth, Scotch College from Adelaide.
Race 448 is the second repechage of the Schoolgirl Cox 4, and Ballarat Clarendon have not started in this one. So a field of 3, top 2 going through to the A final and the third place through to the B final. The field we have Queenwood in lane number 3, Loreto College Ballarat in lane 5, and Melbourne Girls Grammar School in lane number 6.
Confirmation there, it is a scratching from the crew from Ballarat Clarendon College. So the defending champions won't be able to make it 3 in a row this year. But it remains therefore a race in 3. Queenwood in lane 3, Loreto College Ballarat lane 5, and Melbourne Girls Grammar School in lane 6. The 3 crews are here on the course, as mentioned during the previous race. That is a Division 2 crew from Loreto Ballarat. But they do have the edge on the combination from Melbourne Girls Grammar School, so a finish actually in prospect here between those couple of crews. But the race lead is with the Queenwood School from Sydney, Annie Sieve, Grace Bennett, Eva Thompson, Zoe James and Melody Yin, coached by Karen Glynn and Ray Boyle. Certainly is the Queenwood crew, who remain clear here by not quite a boat length over Loreto College Ballarat and then Melbourne Girls Grammar School. The Loreto crew, Kate Connell, Annabelle Patuch, Isabella Rosato, Bronte Malloy and Madison Lane. And for Melbourne Girls Grammar School, we have Sophie Clifford, Rose Anderson, Bella Pitt, Sarah Meredith Smith and Lily Machini in that boat on lane 6. So just one of these 3 crews to miss out. Heat winners already awaiting in the A final from yesterday's racing. So Heat 1 was won by the Queenwood School from Sydney over the Wilderness School of South Australia, and Heat 2 won by Unley High, also from South Australia, and the Friends School from Tasmania. So we are seeing lots of crews from different states doing well in the Cox 4 racing here. It's certainly not. The final of this event was last year, but it's going to be, it does look like Loreto may well qualify 2 crews, but through to the final they still sit almost a length clear of Melbourne Girls Grammar School in the race for 2nd and 3rd, but it's the Queenwood combination comfortably in front, and they should also therefore get 2 crews through to this final. The Queenwood School leading out here into the last 200 metres now of the second repechage of the Schoolgirls at Cox 4. And they do look set to qualify 2 crews through to the A final tomorrow, as does Loreto College from Ballarat. B to Queenwood. So Loreto, Ballarat and Roseville taking out the 2 spots in repechage 1, and now it looks like it will be Queenwood and Loreto Ballarat doing it here in repechage 2 to complete our field of 8 for the A final tomorrow morning of the Schoolgirls Cox 4 Championship of Australia. And I was about to say Queenwood looking very comfortable, and they go for a light surge over the final 50 metres here of the course just to extend their margin to victory out beyond a length. It is Queenwood in first place on lane 3. Second, Loreto College from Ballarat, and third, it will be the crew from Melbourne Girls Grammar School. 7:44.15, the unofficial time there. Repechage, which was again one.
Race 449 is the Schoolboy Cox 4 first semi-final. First 4 to the A final, rest through to the B final. St Peter's College from South Australia in lane number 1. Unley High School, South Australia in lane 2. King's School from Parramatta, New South Wales in lane 3. St Patrick's College, Ballarat, Victoria in 4. Ballarat Clarendon College in lane number 5. The Shaw School in lane 6. St Augustine's College in lane number 7. And Ballarat High School in lane number 8.
Two crews who know each other very well and have had a number of close races over the course of this season. As luck would have it, drawn together in lanes 4 and 5 here in the centre of the course. But it is certainly St Patrick's College who have the better of those two Ballarat crews in the centre lane. They've got a clear water lead on Ballarat Clarendon lane 5. And then the King's School from Sydney in lane 3, possibly in fact shading Ballarat Clarendon for now for second place. And the other crew in our top 4 would be the St Augustine's combination again from here in Sydney. So it looks like a pretty clear top 4 as we come through the 1,500 metre mark now. And that's a big lead to the crew from St Patrick's College of Ballarat, ahead of Unley High from South Australia. In fact, is the crew over on that side in third place. Ballarat, Clarendon, St Augustine's still in contention as well. No, I think it was the King's School lane 3 who may have come through there in seconds. One Unley High have come up twice on the timing system, but definitely King's lane 3 ahead of Unley High lane 2, and they are, you can see from that shot there in the drone, our clear top 4. So St Patrick's College, the head of the lake winners, Ned Bennett, Angus Murfitt, Paddy O'Brien, Henry Rayner and Jarvis McLean, coached by David O'Doherty. King's School there in second place, lane 3, Oscar Petrus, William Hurst, Louis Todd, Luke Fleet and Ty Watson, coached by Harrison Randall and Stephen Edwards. Ballarat Clarendon lane 5, Stuart Hall, Max Mason, James Forsyth, Charlie McClure and Reese Belcher, coached by Ian Peel. And the final qualifying spot looks likely to go the way of St Augustine's from Sydney. Jay Taylor, Max Tancred, Jason Cow, William Pender and Ryder Taylor, coached by Bjorn Ungermark and Judith Ungermark. Probably expecting a closer battle here between these two Ballarat schools. At the head of the lake, they were separated by 0.18 of a second, St Patrick's and Ballarat Clarendon. But St Patrick's in this race have gone clear early in the race, established a clear water lead, and they're going to hold that all the way down to the finish line. King's School to may well sit in between these two finishes from Ballarat towards the finish of this race. But they're all going to go through to the final and race again tomorrow, along, of course, with St Augustine's there in 4th place. But it's going to be a win to the combination from St Patrick's College of Ballarat, racing in lane 4 by a length and a half over Kings. Will be narrowly second, just edging out Ballarat Clarendon into 3rd place. 4th will go to St Augustine's lane 7. So there are our 4 qualifiers from semi-final number 1. 5th will be lane 2, the Unley High combination from. Will be pretty tight down here on the finish tower side. It will narrowly go the way of the lane 6 crew from Shaw, ahead of Ballarat High in 7th place, and 8th will go to St Peter's College from Adelaide.
Semi-final number 2 of the Schoolboy Cox 4 is on the course, race 450. We have Brisbane Grammar in lane number 1. Lane 2 left vacant as a result of Brisbane Grammar scratching. Lane 3 is Canberra Grammar School. Lane 4, Launceston Grammar. Lane 5, St Joseph's College, Hunters Hill. Lane 6, Shaw School. Lane 7, St Ignatius College. And lane number 8, Prince Alfred College.
Brisbane Grammar School entered 4 crews in this event. 2 have made it to the semis, although only 1 taking their place in the field. That's the crew over in lane 1 with that vacant lane beside them. On the other side of the vacant lane sits our early race leaders. That is the Canberra Grammar School combination of Harry Budd, Nicholas Vandervolt, Cameron Schmidt, Dylan Outram and Timothy Robson, coached by Chris Polichannon. And we're about to see them go now through the halfway mark of the race, that combination from Canberra Grammar. And of Launceston Grammar, St Joseph's and Shaw in very quick succession. Brisbane Grammar School on the far side, Prince Alfred College on the Canberra side of the course, the northern side here ahead narrowly from St Ignatius. So that are the 7 crews there, and you can see from that fantastic drone shot from above, probably about at most 4 lengths from 1st to 7th in this second semi-final of the Schoolboys Cox 4. But it's Canberra Grammar School leading it out from Launceston Grammar lane 4, Bailey Stewart, Augustine Sullivan Arkless, Oliver Quinn, George Beecham and Jamari Lockhart. They are coached by James Cumming and Jack Barrett. Josephs then would be third. Grant Dreyer, Xavier Gersoy, Nicholas Callanan, Danny Cable and Flynn Bruin, coached by Lachlan Miles. And then the Shaw School sit fourth in a qualifying spot. William Kellett, Max Gillen, Harry Marshall, Jasper Halstead and Jethro Chapman. They are coached by Ollie Smith. Maybe first 8 rowers, Owen, from those Sydney schools, or are they saving that for the 8th race?
Saving that for the 8th race, yeah. So Ollie Smith's had the second 8 at Shaw this season. He's come across from St Ignatius College to Shaw to take on the second 8 this season. He's the son of Ian Smith, the of course well-known rowing and yachting personality. And he's done a very good job over at Shaw School, which is a very storied rowing program. Lachlan Miles, a very good rower in his time, and I think he's had the second 8 over at St Joseph's as well.
And those two Sydney skills, well, 3rd and 5th now, in fact, it would be. So timing system suggested that Shaw led Brisbane Grammar. It didn't quite look like that, but in any case, very tight for 4th and 5th place. Then the Prince Alfred College behind them. But moving up to take the lead with now 400 metres to go is that Launceston Grammar School combination, trained of course on the wide expanses of the Tamar River in Launceston. Not too far from the venue for the 2025 National Championships at wonderful Lake Barrington there in the north of Tasmania. But it is Launceston Grammar who've certainly gone now ahead of Canberra Grammar. St Joseph's still there in 3rd, comfortably in a qualifying spot, but watch out for the crew on the far side. The watchful eye of our peloton there. Brisbane Grammar School Lane 1, Isaac Spiller, Alistair Jackson, Bede Stuckey, Lachlan Smith and William Marr, coached by Richard Powell and Daniel Horsley, and that does appear to be half of the Brisbane Grammar School first 8 that finished in 2nd place at the GPS Head of the River in Brisbane, or at least at Lake Warralong 2 weeks ago. The light blue boat there of Brisbane Grammar School on the far side of the course in contention, along with the Shaw School from Sydney Lane 6. So that is the race. The 4th and 5th, then Prince Alfred College and also St Ignatius. But the race lead now certainly with Launceston Grammar School, who've gone comfortably clear in the final 500 metres, moving ahead of Canberra Grammar School and St Joseph's either side of them. So those 3 crews will fairly comfortably move through, but it is a very strong second half of the race by that Tasmanian crew. It's been a great morning for Tasmania so far, and Launceston Grammar School will take out the second semi-final of the Schoolboys Cox 4. Canberra Grammar School hold off a second, St Joseph's 3rd, Brisbane Grammar School just in 4th spot, and they will get there by a canvas. Brisbane Grammar qualify on the far side, just ahead of Shaw, who'll go to the B final. Yes, but Launceston Grammar School, the winners there of the second semi-final of the Schoolboys Cox 4. Time there is 6:47.27, so about 5 seconds slower than the previous semi, but they'll have the centre lane alongside that very good crew from St Patrick's College in Ballarat.
And on to race 451, the Club Women's Coxless 4. It's a repechage, first 4 to the final, the rest will be eliminated. Melbourne University have not started in this one, so we're left with a field of 5. Carrum Rowing Club in lane number 3, Sydney in lane 4, UTS Haberfield in 5, Adelaide Rowing Club in 6, and the University of New South Wales in lane number 7.
So a sole repechage here on, and no, there are 5 crews in the race, so 4 of the 5.
5 listed, I only see 4 out there. It doesn't look like there's anyone right in the middle. So look in lane number 5 by the look of that. So it looks like UTS Haberfield may not have started.
Therefore means the lowest placed crew may not progress from a field of 4.
I think we would be better off
We'll let
avoiding
the judges
that
decide
and
that one.
leaving it to people on a higher pay grade than us.
So definitely in front there narrowly is Sydney Rowing Club, who have high hopes to do extremely well. Cheerleader Chris McCarthy was assuring me before they may in fact be able to take all 6 of the club events if things go their way, but a few other clubs will have a bit to say about that, I would suggest. In this case they lead through Olivia Cassidy, Catherine Mason, Paige Critchlow, Eliza Dunlop, coaches Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths, and not far behind them in second place the coaches of that crew. Now, Sydney still leading here, deep into the third 500 now of this race, ahead of Adelaide in lane 6. Definitely no appearance from the crew listed there for lane 5 from UTS Haberfield. So it is definitely a field of 4. We'll await the final progression once this race is concluded, but it's going to be safe for these crews to be in the top 3, it suggests. So Karen well placed there over in lane 3. Jess Fishman, Anna Lloyd-Smith, Morgan Dunham, Jackie Diebel and Drew Holman, the head coach of the Carrum Rowing Club, who of course train on the National Water Sports Centre at Carrum in the southeast suburbs of Melbourne, the course that was built for the 1996 Olympic Games that were never awarded to Melbourne in the end and went to Atlanta, but the course still regularly used, largely for school regattas and some club racing. At the moment, it is a rare, almost I wouldn't call it inner city course, but it is strictly speaking within the confines now of the greater Melbourne area.
And Carrum have had a very good history in this event. They've medalled in it in the past and been regular finalists in this event. It's been usually based around a core group of athletes: Jackie Diebel, Jess Fishman, Angelique Leal, not part of the boat this year, but also someone that's been part of that Carrum boat that's always been very strong in this event.
Yeah, they won their first ever Nationals medal, I think, in this race at Nagambie 2 years ago. So that was a drought-breaking, a bronze medal in that race, but that was a cause for great celebration for the Carrum Rowing Club, and they're certainly well placed here to move through to the final once again. So 50% of that crew is racing here today. The crew is Jess Fishman, Anna Lloyd-Smith, Morgan Dunham and Jackie Diebel. And then the fourth crew in the race, University of New South Wales, Annabelle Singh, Elizabeth Raffin, Olivia Zago, Anna Ristic, coached by Chris Burns and Cameron Butler. And the crew might just have a bit of a nervous wait while we confirm the progression for this race, with the repechage field of 6 reduced to 5, and then now 4 boats are only on the course. But it's going to be a win here to the Sydney Rowing Club, who won 3 races in a row about later on yesterday afternoon in the between the women's and men's club 4s. So they've got certainly high hopes of a number of crews going very well in these events, and they'll qualify here on lane 4. Sydney Rowing Club come across and take out the sole repechage of the club women's Cox's 4 by 2.5 lengths from Adelaide, who will finish in second. Third will go the way of that distinctively coloured boat there of the Carrum Rowing Club in the fluoro green colours on lane 3. They're through to the A final as well, and 4th place will be the University of New South Wales racing on lane 7. So the field of 4 all across the line in the one and only repechage of the club women's Cox's 4, and Sydney Rowing Club get a pretty easy win there.
Two repechages. Number 1 is starting to make its way up to the halfway mark. The field that we have in lane 2, UTS Haberfield. In lane 3, Toowong. Lane 4, Mercantile. Lane 5, Melbourne University. And lane 6, Adelaide University. Some clubs with storied histories in this one. And top 2 to progress through to the final. Rest will be eliminated.
Melbourne Uni there at the halfway mark, who lead it on lane 5. A well-credentialed crew there, including an Olympic silver medalist, Ben Simons, Cameron Mackenzie McHarg, Tom Hooper and Mitchell Hooper is the Melbourne University crew. The top 2 will go through to the final here. And alongside Melbourne Uni sits the lane 2 crew, UTS Haberfield, Will Club, Jack Power, James Amira, Luca Malozzi, coached by Matthias Ungermuck and Sam Fennessy. And they are a pretty clear top 2, but there's not much between them at all. It's about a third of a canvas lead at this stage to Melbourne Uni. At the 1,500 metre mark now, and the lead has now been taken over by UTS Haberfield on the far side. They've got 1.37 seconds on Melbourne University, about 2 lengths then back to the third place crew from Mercantile, Benjamin Vandenberg, Seth Twinney, Sam Chin and Sam Oostendorp. They've got a length or so on Toowong, who would be fourth. Jack Price, Thomas Daly, Samuel Daly, Hamish Parry, Mark Game, the coach there of that crew from the Toowong Rowing Club in Brisbane. And then in fifth place, it'd be Adelaide University. Right there on the left-hand side of the screen, closest to the grandstand side of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. That is the crew of Beecher Ross, James Williams, Alexander Williams, Ross Hamilton, and coached by Sam Morton. But just 2 crews will qualify here through this first of 2 repêchages in the club men's Cox's 4. The crew from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club here in Sydney does look to just be extending their lead. Still fairly close there with Melbourne Uni. The crew coming through strongly is Mercantile lane 4. So Mercantile pushing Melbourne Uni, who in turn need to make sure they stay as close as they can to the race leaders from UTS Haberfield. They're on the far side of the course, back to Toowong, and then the crew from Adelaide University. But still, there's more than a length between the second and third place crews, the 2 great rivals from Boathouse Drive on the Yarra River. Melbourne University second, Mercantile in third, and that looks unlikely to change now with about 60 metres to race. But the win will go to the crew on the southern side of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. The Lane 2 crew from the UTS Haberfield Rowing Club move through to take the lead after 1,500 and now are over a length clear, and they'll take out this repêchage of the club men's Cox's 4. UTS first, Melbourne Uni finished in second place. Both go through to the final. Third place, Mercantile, who missed out by just over a length. Fourth then Toowong, and fifth will be the crew from Adelaide University. Under 3 seconds between those 2 crews. 2.94 seconds at this stage, and the unofficial time 6:27.95. Just correcting now, in fact, is 6:28.04.
Charge 2 of the club men's Cox's 4, and that's race 453. Top 2 to the final, and the rest will be eliminated. Lane 2 is Mercantile Rowing Club from Melbourne, Victoria. Lane 3, Canberra Rowing Club. Lane 4, Sydney Rowing Club. Lane 5, Sydney University Boat Club. Lane 6, the University of New South Wales Rowing Club.
We're into the second 500 of this race. We did see a shot just before that last race of these crews lined up on the start pontoon. So great vision from right around the course happening today. As got a few new cameras in action we saw yesterday, and they'll be here all through today and tomorrow to bring you all the action from the Sydney International Regatta Centre here in the last 2 days now of the Australian Rowing Championships for 2024. And the second repêchage being led again by the Lane 2 crew. This time it is a Mercantile Rowing Club combination, and a pretty good crew there also from Mercantile. Hamish Nicol, Jake Polkinghorn, Oliver Scalzo and Harry Cathcart. The combination there as they come through the halfway mark with a Clearwater lead. Mercantile have over the combination from Sydney Rowing Club in second place. Flynn Wilkinson, Angus Aitken, Luke Sharam, Henry Cross, coached by Donovan Seck, Shane Mulvaney and Franz Imfeld. Canberra Rowing Club were third on lane 3. University of New South Wales, lane 6. And Sydney University Boat Club, lane 5, are back there in 5th place. So looking again for the top 2 crews to move through here to the final tomorrow of the club men's Cox's 4. Sydney Rowing Club won both heats of this race yesterday afternoon, so already have 2 crews through to the final, along with 1 each from Melbourne University and Mercantile. So this is Mercantile looking to get a second crew to qualify, and Sydney Rowing Club looking to make it 3 crews into that 8-boat final, which will come up through tomorrow morning's program. And they look pretty well placed to do so as they come through these wonderfully calm conditions here on the 6th morning of racing at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. A great sight there as these 5 Cox's 4s make their way down the 2,000 metre course here at Penrith. And it remains to be a clear lead with Mercantile and Sydney, the top 2. You can see just there the stern of the Mercantile boat, pretty much in contact with the bow of the Sydney Rowing Club boat. So they look to be our top 2 crews who will go through in this particular race. Worth noting too that the UTS Haberfield crew that won the first repechage did finish originally in second place in their heat yesterday, but were relegated due to an underweight boat. One of a number of crews across the course of this week who've had issues with their boat weight, so they were put back to last place in their heat, but have now won through from the repechage in any case. But once again, a salutary lesson there to all to ensure that your boats are above the minimum requirement to ensure that your placing in the event is not affected. So Mercantile and Sydney still the top two here. Sydney, I reckon, have made up some ground there on that crew from Mercantile, but looks set to qualify regardless. It's still about a third of a length, in fact. Mercantile, their lane 2, leading it from Sydney Rowing Club in lane 4, and then back to the crew from Canberra, still there in third place. William Legg, Jesse Rosen, Darcy James and James Waldersea. And the University of New South Wales, I think, just zigzagged a little on their way down the course. They're still correcting a path now, but sit comfortably enough in fourth. Harry O'Donnell, Chris Burns, Marcus Black, Jack Clements and coach Cameron Butler, but unlikely to finish in the top two. But Sydney Rowing Club certainly going for the win here now. They look to have got their boat ahead of the one from Mercantile. In fact, they've comfortably gone past the Mercantile crew, who are not really responding to this Sydney challenge, as both are going to comfortably qualify for the final tomorrow in the Club Benz Coxsworth 4. So slightly different tactics at play here, but Sydney should end up one lane in from the outside, and Mercantile will be in the outside lane with the second place finish in this repechage coming up. So a 2-length win it'll be to Sydney Rowing Club. They've got 3 boats through to the final of the Club Men's Coxsworth 4. Mercantile qualified 2 crews now with the second place finish on lane 2. A few lengths then back to Canberra, who will hold on to third place, but will miss out on the progression. No B finals in these club events, of course. Fourth place to University of New South Wales, and fifth to the crew from Sydney University on lane 6. 6:31.86 the time, so close to 4 seconds slower than UTS Haberfield from the previous repechage.
Final now, race 454, the under-23 lightweight women's quadruple scull final, and the field that we have in lane at number 3, University of Queensland, Loreto College, Marryatville and the ANU. In lane number 4, Melbourne University. In lane 5, Tasmania University, Sydney University, Toowong and Griffith University Surfers Paradise. In lane 6, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport.
We have a final on the course now. This is, race 454. Big numbers here of races throughout this regatta. And it's being led at this stage by the Sydney Rowing Club combination on the left-hand side of the screen. It was obviously Melbourne Uni narrowly at the last timing point as they came through the 500-metre mark, but certainly Sydney now, as you can see there on screen, have assumed the lead by a half length or so from Melbourne University over in lane 4. So the Sydney crew heading towards halfway on lane 6. Grace Cypher, Neve Tierney, Lisa Page and Laura Cypher, coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. And they're extending all the way now through this second 500 metres of the race over the crew from Melbourne University, who are there in second place. And there's 1.85 seconds now between these two crews. So Sydney leading it from Melbourne University, and then the University of Queensland composite on the far side of the course, which is the composite of University of Queensland, Loreto Marryatville and the Australian National University. So a fairly geographically diverse crew there from two rows from University of Queensland, Emily Graham and Scarlett Woodbury, along with Emily Lang of Loreto Marryatville and Adelaide, and Alex Perry-Dalton from the Australian National University Boat Club as well in the bow seat of that boat. That's the lane 3 crew. Melbourne Uni alongside the lane 4 in second place, Charlotte Ball, Emily McComb, Felicity Murray and Lucy DeGlaria Cade, who will row so tomorrow in the Victoria Cup crew for the Interstate Lightweight Quad Scull Championship of Australia. But it is Sydney Rowing Club really pulling away here and out to a Clearwater lead over Melbourne University in second place.
So the seating slightly different. Looks like Neve Tierney in the bow seat, Laura Cypher with a distinctive arm sleeve on in the 2 seat. A big basketball fan, big LeBron James fan, and wears that trademark sleeve for over a season now. In seat 3 is Liesl Page and Grace Cypher, who's represented Australia twice in the under-23 lightweight single scull and has been selected again to do once more as in the stroke seat of that Sydney boat as they head up towards the 1,500 metre mark.
Very good regatta for the Cypher sisters so far. They've been involved in some great close racing with the Malcolm sisters as well from the Centenary Club in Queensland. The Cyphers, along with Neve Tierney and Liesl Page, will stand on the victory pontoon and likely in the centre too for the presentation to come shortly for this race, because they are well clear now through 1,500 metres. So the Sydney Rowing Club and New South Wales Institute of Sport combination comfortably there in that MPACA by about 2 lengths ahead of Melbourne University. And we in turn have a length or so on that composite University of Queensland, Loreto Marriotteville, and Australian National University crew on the far side of the course. Look like there's just a bit of a tailwind here. The flags we can see on the course pretty much pointing in our direction. Above there, the victory pontoon that these crews will soon come to receive their medals, and it does look almost certain here now, even with still an 8th of the race to go, that Sydney Rowing Club will once again be in the centre of the podium. A very good display of quad scull rowing here from that combination. Grace Cypher, Neve Tierney, Liesl Page and Laura Cypher, coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. And they maintain still a 2-length lead over Melbourne University. Coming home strongly is that composite crew on the southern side of the course, who are making up some ground on Melbourne Uni. They've got within about half a length or so now. We're still the best part of 100 metres to race. And then in 4th place, it's Tasmania University, Sydney University, Toowong Griffith University, a 4-club composite crew there racing in lane 5. But the gold medal in the under-23 lightweight women's quad scull is going to go the way of Sydney Rowing Club on lane 6. They come across for a 2.5 length win. Melbourne University will hold on for second. They will respond to the late challenge from the composite crews. So Melbourne Uni lane 4 will get the silver medal, and the bronze Queensland composite crew and the lane 5 Tasmania University composite crew will finish in 4th position. Time there unofficially of 6:51.38. 7.69 seconds between Sydney, our winners, and silver medalists from Melbourne University.
On the start line, race 455, the under-23 women's Coxed 8, and the field that we have North Esk, Mersey, Buckingham, Tasmania University in lane number 1. That's Tess Clower, Lily Barker, Olivia Walter, Matilda Cocker, Maddie Higgins, Poppy Kennett, Ella Spalding, Layla Hucker, and Georgina Rumble Coxing, Dave Tippett, and Hamish Johnston, the coaches. Adelaide University in lane number 2. Composite crew with UTS Haberfield, West Australian Rowing Club in Adelaide. We have Sarah Fard, April Draney, Lila Anderton, Georgina Tager, Elise Moreau-Barrett, Sienna Morgan and Jade Bliss, Carolyn McNally and Sophie Costellis coxing that boat. In lane number 3 we have Mercantile, Wendouree Ballarat, Yarra Yarra, Grace Ivers, Mia Harrison, Zara Kafuri, Imogen Nation, Abigail Cox, Lucy Richardson, Anna Morrison, Jess Hawker and Isabel Finch coxing. Sydney Swan River, Fremantle in lane number 4, Remy Mackay, Eliza Dunlop, Talisa Noak Driver, Charlotte Broad, Genevieve Hart, Rebecca Pretorius, Caitlin McManus Barrett and Isabella Scammell, Hannah Cowop coxing and coached by Lachlan Carter, Florence Griffiths and Jamie Hewlett. Sydney University, NSWIS QAS in lane number 5, Alex O'Brien, Alyssa Ficker, Zoe Bond, Tiffany Botha, Sophia Whiteman, Zoe McKellar, Olivia Natty, Imogen Gray and Elizabeth Bolster, the coxswain. Alpha Young and Alan Bennett, the coaches. Melbourne University in lane number 6 with Chloe Nevins, Meg Dumbrell, Katarina Bitsios, Bridget Harwood, Jemima Milcox, Sarah Marriott, Romy Cantwell, Zara Lavery and Emily Coughlin, the coxswain. And finally, closest to us is the University of Queensland QAS crew, Edie Russell, Ruby Dollar, Georgia Montague, Ellie Reddy, Alice Reddy, Tyler Hutton, Lucy Hope, Nancy Duncan Banks and Priscilla Russell coxing, and Phil Bergignon, the coach of the crew, and the yellow boat at the bottom of the screen.
What a sight up at the start there, Owen. 7/8 lined up across the course, poised, ready to start and be on their way. Our starter, as always, waiting for the correct start time. And at 11 a.m, we're on our way in the final of the Under-23 Women's Cox Day. Pace on early in this race, as of course you would expect. The final here racing for a national championship gold, silver and bronze medals. Those 7 crews across the course, as Owen just read out. North Esk Composite Lane 1, Adelaide University Composite in 2, Mercantile Composite Lane 3, Sydney Composite Lane 4, Sydney Uni Lane 5, Melbourne Uni Composite Lane, in fact just Melbourne Uni Lane 6, a non-composite crew, just to confuse us, University of Queensland Lane 7. So 3 crews from individual clubs, Sydney Uni in 5, Melbourne Uni in 6, University of Queensland in 7, and 4 composite crews then across the rest of the course. And one of those from the Adelaide Uni composite combination has got a very good start over in lane 2, as have Melbourne University racing in lane 6. And they are heading up already to complete the first quarter of this race. Just one crew dropping off the pace a bit. There is the Tasmanian, the all-Tasmanian composite combination, North East, Mersey, Buckingham and Tasmania University racing in lane 1, but there'd be about half a length from first to 6th in the rest of the field, as they are a narrow lead. As we welcome back
after a couple of very tight
surprised.
finishes in the middle there. And then have a look at this one. Through the first timing point, we have Melbourne University, Sydney Composite, Adelaide University Composite, University of Queensland, Sydney University, Mercantile Composite. Maths isn't great at the moment, but I reckon that's about 2 seconds between first and 6th.
That is an incredible set of numbers, and what a view of those top 6/8s indeed, as they make their way through the second 500 metres of this race. So it's going to be a mouthful if this gets close late in the race, Stuart, which I know you've got later on today, but 4 composite combinations here, and 3 of them every chance to be involved in a very tight. At the quarterway mark of the race was with lane 6, the Melbourne University crew of Chloe Nevins, Meg Dumbrell, Katarina Romy Campbell, Zara Lavery and Emily Coughlin coxing that boat, and they are not far in front at all from the Sydney composite combination in 4 and Adelaide Uni lane 2.
Yeah, 3 crews out towards the front, and you can see there the crowds having a look out towards the big smiles on the face there. You see the crowds looking out. This is going to be an absolute ball to bow ball yet again. How many times have we said that today? Lane 2, the Adelaide Uni composite there, also only half a boat length back. And then lane 3, the Mercantile Ballarat Yarra Yarra composite in there as well. So through the next timing point, 1,000 metres in, and it is still only a few seconds between first and third. It is tight, Richard.
Under a second between each of our top 6 crews. Incredibly tight 8th racing here, but it's the Sydney composite crew now who had their bow in front just by over half a second at the second at timing point. That's the crew. In fact, it's Sydney, Swan River and Fremantle, so it's a composite crew from either side of the country. Remy Mackay of Sydney Rowing Club, Eliza Dunlop and Talisa Noakes Driver, all from Sydney. Charlotte Broad of Fremantle, along with Genevieve Hart, also from the Fremantle Club, and 2 rowers, in fact, Rebecca Pretorius from Swan River and Caitlin McManus Barrett of Sydney Rowing Club. So it's the SRC, SRRC and FRC composite crew there racing in lane 4 with the narrowest of margins still over Melbourne Uni lane 6 and the University of Queensland lane 7. I reckon have moved up probably into a narrow 3rd spot as well.
Yeah, they're not sitting too far off the pace, are they? So it's Sydney, Melbourne University and the University of Queensland. So the Sydney composite, Melbourne University and the University of Queensland. Now our 3 leading crews. Sydney University sitting then probably about 3/4 of a boat length back from the leading Sydney Rowing Club crew. And then you can see there the 2 of the Adelaide University, UTS, West Australian and Adelaide composite sitting in 5th place. A little bit further back to the Mercantile, Wendouree Ballarat, Yarra Yarra composite in lane 3. And then you can see at the top of the screen, the North Esk, Mersey, Buckingham, Tasmania University composite Sydney Rowing Club, though, still with the lead. Half a boat length over Melbourne University, University of Queensland, Sydney University, Adelaide Uni Composite, Mercantile Composite, 5th and 6th, probably just dropping off the pace a little bit. So we have 4 very fast 8s. 3 medals up for grabs, Richard, and about 400 metres left to go.
As the biggest lead of the race so far, just 1.18 seconds between Sydney Composite Lane 4 and Melbourne University Lane 6. But University of Queensland very tight with them as well, and Sydney Uni Lane 5. So the crew in Lane 7 from University of Queensland, Edie Russell, Ruby Dollar, Georgia Montague, Ellie Reedy, Alice Reedy, Tyler Hutton, Lucy Hope, Nancy Duncan-Banks and Priscilla Russell, coached by Phil Bourguignon. And moving quickly there also in Lane 5 is Sydney Uni, Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Fickers, Zoe Bond, Tiffany Botha, Sophia Whiteman, Zoe McKellar, Olivia Natty, Imogen Gray, and Elizabeth Bolster, coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett, who are moving through here quickly as well. But still that Sydney Swan River Fremantle Composite crew has the narrow edge. I'm not sure it's still 1.18 seconds. Melbourne Uni coming through strongly on Lane 6. University of Queensland on the grandstand side. And what a view it is as these 8s come through now with 120 metres to race. There are 4 chances across the course for 3 medals here. Sydney Composite Lane 4, Melbourne Uni in 6, being challenged now by Sydney Uni in 5, and the University of Queensland Lane 7 with a bit of work to do now in the closing strokes of the race. It is the Sydney Swan River Fremantle Composite crew just flying home. Sydney University Lane 5, Melbourne Uni just third. There's about the 2/3 of length for first to fourth, but the win will go to Sydney Rowing Club, or the Sydney Composite crew in Lane 4. Second goes to Sydney Uni, third Melbourne University, and 4th place the crew from the University of Queensland. What fantastic 8th racing here in the under-23 Women's Cox Day Championship of Australia. It'll be the Sydney Composite crew that gets the gold medal in a very tight finish. In the end, also 5th has gone to Adelaide University Composite Lane 2. 6th will go to Mercantile on Lane 3, and the North S Composite crew will finish in 7th place. And Stuart, I'm going to go have a lie-down now. Ray Emmett's coming in, and I'll leave it with you.
So Sydney Composite with the win. That is Sydney, Swan River and Fremantle by 0.66 of a second over Sydney University. Melbourne University a second back in 3rd, and then the University of Queensland in 4th place by 0.18 of a second. 6 seconds back then to Adelaide University, UTS, West Australian Adelaide Composite, and then our Mercantile Composite and North S Composite in 6th and 7th. Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Lightweight Women's Quadruple Sculls Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by John. In 3rd place, and bronze medalists, the University of Queensland, Loreto College Marryatville and ANU. The crew of Alex Perry Dalton from ANU Boat Club. Emily Lang from Loreto College Marryatville. Scarlett Woodbury from the University of Queensland Boat Club. And Emily Graham from the University of Queensland Boat Club. They're coached by Michael Russell and Dario Sportelli. In 2nd place and silver medalists, Melbourne University. Their crew, Charlotte Ball, Emily McComb, Felicity Murray, and Lucy DeGlaria-Cater. And our gold medalists and Australian champions for 2024, Sydney Rowing Club. Their crew, Grace Cypher, Neve Tierney. Liesl Page. And Laura Seifer. They're coached by Lachlan Carter and Florence Griffiths. Please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
And our thanks to Launceston Grammar School and St Michael's Collegiate for holding the trays this morning. And Stuart, the under 23 men's quadruple scull is underway.
Yeah, and some great rowers in this one as well, Ray. We've got Griffith University, Surfers Paradise, Adelaide and Cairn Composite in lane number 1. Lane 2, a University of Queensland, Sydney University Composite, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. Lane 3, North Esk Rowing Club in Tasmania. Lane 4, Toowong Rowing Club from Brisbane. Lane 5, we have a Fremantle, Melbourne University and West Australian Composite, supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport. Lane 6, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. And lane 7, Toowong Rowing Club.
The only crew that's off the pace at the moment is the crew from Toowong, as the crew in Station 1 leads out. Ben Horsnell of Griffith Uni, Zach Nixon of Cairn, Adam Holland of Adelaide, Sassy and Mackenzie Branch of Griffith Uni, coached by Chris Holliday, Duncan Free and Scott Robat. You could throw a pashmina over them, as the University of Queensland Sydney Uni crew are in the mix there, as is the UTS Haberfield crew, Harry Curtin, Patrick Burke, Mitchell Caponis and Jack Power, Matthias and Judith Ungermark coaching that crew. Then across also in the mix is University of Queensland Sydney, Hugh Waitman, Hugo Hobbs, Andrew Waitman, Noah Roseman, David Waitman, Donald McLaughlin, Phil Bourguignon coaching that crew. And Fremantle, Melbourne Uni, Western Australian Rowing Club composite, Jacob Sangster from Fremantle, Blake White of Western Australian Rowing Club, Felix Oliver of Melbourne Uni VIS and Liam Davis of Fremantle, coached by Alex Thompson. And I'd suggest the UTS Haberfield crew in Station 6 may have taken the lead now.
Yeah, they've got themselves just ahead of the crew in lane number 2. That's the University of Queensland, Sydney University Composite, but not a lot to pick between them. I don't know that I'd pick a pashmina to throw over them, but certainly a nice throw blanket would be absolutely lovely. Also, that North Esk crew not doing too badly there in lane number 3. Lane 6, UTS Haberfield leading lane 2, University of Queensland Composite. Griffith University Surfers Paradise Composite in lane 1, North Esk lane 3. And lane 5, the Fremantle Melbourne University West Australian Composite, also right up there, coming into the 1,000-metre timing point.
The Trevor Barrett coached North Esk crew, Neil Douglas, Carl Breyer, Laurie Dean and Oscar Birtwistle are doing a fantastic job there. They're up in third place, 0.67 by 0.44. And then there's a couple of more margins of under 1 second. And the Toowong crew is well off the pace. Going very well. The other crew, Johan Tarn, Ben Stockwell, Joseph Petrie, Reaper and Henry McCluskey, coached by Mark Game, is off the pace at the moment. But a fantastic race developing here. University of Queensland Composite, North Esk, UTS Haberfield in Station 6, pushing through the Fremantle Composite crew with Melbourne Uni, Western Australian Rowing Club. We've had some exciting racing this morning, Stuart, that's for sure. And there's about a half a length lead here to the crew in lane 6, UTS Haberfield. But the Melbourne Queensland Uni, Sydney Uni Composite crew, about a half a length back, but they're under pressure from lane 3, the North Esk crew, which is really stretching out now as well. And they're going out after the leaders, UTS Haberfield, as we come to the 1,500 metre mark.
Yeah, and that crew from Fremantle, Melbourne University and the West Australian Rowing Clubs also not out of it as they're coming into that 1,500 timing point. It's still going to be UTS with the lead through 1,500, but they don't give you medals at the 1,500 unless you're in LA in 4 years' time.
That's true. So it's still this UTS Haberfield Composite crew, just under a half a length lead to the University of Queensland Sydney U, 0.83, 0.58, 0.07. So the medals are far from decided. at this point with 1,500 metres covered and about 450 still to go. The crew in lane 2, nice and long, looking across. The bowman looks across at the crew in lane 6, says to his mates, let's keep going. The North-Est crew are right there with them as well. And a very big peloton following the race down as the UTS Haberfield crew. Harry Curtin, Patrick Burke, Mitchell Caponis, Jack Power, coached by Matthias and Judith Ungermark on this side of the course. In second place, Hugh Waitman, Hugo Hobbs, Andrew Waitman, Noah Roseman, and coached by David Waitman, Don McLaughlin and Phil Bourguignon are trying to peg them back. Fremantle Composite are there, as is North-Est. Looks like North-Est have run out of legs. Their run has come to an end, I'd suggest. And on the charges, the Fremantle crew, Jacob Sangster, Blake Wyatt, Felix Oliver and Liam Davis, coached by Alex Thompson. Little to choose here, Stuart. It's still the crew on this side of the course, the UTS Haberfield Straight Club crew. Look at the Western Australians flying in Station 5. Fremantle, Melbourne Uni, Western Australian Rowing Club, University of Queensland will finish in third. Who's going to win it? The Western Australians will win it. I leave it to the judge, but I reckon the Western Australians have won it just over the Haberfield crew. University of Queensland, North-Est will be 4th, Griffith Uni will be 5th, Toowong will be 6th and Toowong will be 7th.
Yeah, the provisional time there, 0.37 seconds. The Fremantle, Melbourne University and West Australian Composite, you can see them punching the air, slapping the water. In second place by 0.37 of a second, University of Queensland, Sydney University Composite taking the bronze medal. A winning time of 6 minutes 4.41 and a winning margin, as I say, 0.37 seconds. Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Women's Cox State Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by John Boltby AM, Life Member, Rowing Australia. In third place, and bronze medalists, Melbourne University. Their crew, Chloe Nevins, Meg Dumbrell, Katerina Bitsios, Bridget Harwood, Jemima Wilcox, Sarah Marriott, Romy Cantwell, Zara Lavery, and their coxswain, Emily Goglan. They're supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport and the National Training Centre. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney University. Their crew, Alexandra O'Brien, Alyssa Vickers, Zoe Bond, Tiffany Botha. Sophia Whiteman. Zoe McKellar. Olivia Natty. Imogen Gray. And their coxswain, Elizabeth Bolster. They're coached by Alfie Young and Alan Bennett and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport and the Queensland Academy of Sports. And our gold medalists and Australian champions, Sydney Rowing Club, Swan River Rowing Club and Fremantle Rowing Club. The winning crew, Remy McKay, Sydney Rowing Club. Eliza Dunlop, Sydney Rowing Club. Talisa Noak Driver, Sydney Rowing Club. Charlotte Broad, Fremantle Rowing Club. Genevieve Hart, Fremantle Rowing Club. Rebecca Pretorius, Swan River Rowing Club. Caitlin McManus Barrett, Sydney Rowing Club. Isabella Scammell, Sydney Rowing Club. And their coxswain, Hannah Kowap, Sydney Rowing Club. They're coached by Lachlan Carter, Florence Griffiths and Jamie Hewlett and supported by the New South Wales and West Australian Institutes of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists.
Sixth Car and Truck Rental is home to one of the largest vehicle rental fleets in Australia, offering over 16,000 vehicles including premium and electric vehicles, SUVs, utes, vans, buses and trucks. They have more than 160 convenient locations around Australia, including metropolitan areas. So they're 100% owned by the NRMA and with more and you can trust with all your mobility needs. And lucky for you, every rower, their friends and family can take advantage of a very special offer. If you book via the link shared to your email, you will receive 15% off your next rental. Bannister Downs Dairy is a family-owned dairy farm and processor located in the beautiful southwest of Western Australia, and they are very proud to be able to support these amazing rowing athletes with what has been proven to be some of the best milk in Australia. At Bannister Downs, we admire the discipline, commitment and attention to the health of athletes. Nutrition, health and fantastic flavour are the priority at Bannister Downs, and we wish everyone the very best in the final days at the 2024 Australian Rowing Championships. To celebrate the partnership between Inglewood Coffee Roasters and Rowing Australia, Inglewood is giving away 1 year's supply of coffee to 5 lucky rowing fans. To enter, simply scan any of the Inglewood QR codes throughout the venue and submit your details. The winners, selected at random, will be announced on Monday, March 25th. Good luck. The slight break in racing now, ladies and gentlemen. We will have another medal presentation, so by the time that's over, we'll probably be back racing. We're due at 11:40 with the schoolboy double scull semi-final number 1.
Now, Ray, one of the things that I have seen over the last couple of weeks or so, the RA, Rowing Australia, are having a competition to name the Australian rowing team. So the Australian swimming team, known as the Dolphins, the rugby league team, the Kangaroos, the rugby union team, the Wallabies. What do we call the Australian rowing team?
One of my old rowing buddies sent through the Water Rats, but he explained what it all meant. And I think it was actually, it didn't, when he explained it, it wasn't derogatory, but I think we can come up with something better than the Water Rats.
Well, isn't Karilpa the Indigenous term for water rats around West End in Brisbane?
Oh, yeah, that's right, it is. Yeah.
Karilpas, there we go. We've
The
done it, we've named
Karilpas.
it.
Yep, there you go,
All right.
Sarah Cook, we've got your answer for you.
Yep, find us feed to the commentary box, thanks, Sarah.
So 776 BC, take your performance to the next level at the 776 BC pop-up this Australian Rowing Championships. Access exclusive regatta offers on 776 BC's latest performance products. Connect with Australian rowing team athletes and learn how to get your club or school rowing in 776 BC custom. Enjoy a lineup of great eateries, cultural treasures at museums and galleries, and extreme thrills like skydiving, whitewater rafting and wakeboarding in Penrith. This is all located within an hour's drive from Sydney at the foot of the Blue Mountains on the spectacular Nepean River. And we're right here, ladies and gentlemen, so take advantage of it while you're in the area.
Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Men's Quadruple Scull Championship. Life member third place and bronze medalists, University of Queensland and Sydney University. The crew of Hugh Waitman, University of Queensland. Hugo Hobbs, Sydney University. Andrew Waitman, University of Queensland. And Noah Roseman, University of Queensland. They're coached by David Waitman, Don McLaughlin and Philip Bergignon and supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. Second place and silver medalists, UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. Their crew, Harry Curtin, Patrick Burke, Mitchell Caponis, and Henry Blackwell. They're coached by Matthias and Judith Ungamak and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport. And our winners and gold medalists for 2024, Fremantle, Melbourne University and West Australian Rowing Clubs. The winning crew, Jacob Sangster, Fremantle Rowing Club. Blake Wyatt, West Australian Rowing Club. Felix Oliver, Melbourne University Boat Club. And Liam Davis, Fremantle Rowing Club. They're coached by Alex Thompson and supported by the Victorian Institute of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2024 Australian champions and medalists.